Tonight, live from Rosenblatt Stadium, the Royals take on the Oklahoma City 89ers. It's time for Omaha Royals baseball. Hi, once again, everybody. I'm Torrey Pantaleon along with Terry Leahy. I'll tell you one thing, there's a lot of excitement. Home opener for the Omaha Royals in 1985. A brand new owner, Gus Cherry. A lot of excitement in the city. And I'll tell you, when the weather gets to be in the high 80s, a lot of wind blowing out, straight out in the center field, it can only mean one thing. It's time for the game that's played on the diamond. And Terry, with the new owner and the new season, a bunch of new faces on this Omaha Royals roster. There's a lot of excitement in the city for baseball once again.
Torrey, there are a couple of stories down here at Rosenblatt Stadium tonight. We have the Royals looking for their second win of the season, but we have the new ownership. Irving Gus Cherry out of Chicago, former professional pitcher in the 30s, has bought the Omaha Royals. So much excitement surrounding that. We had such a great luncheon yesterday to welcome the Royals. And he's down here, and he's going to be throwing out the first pitch. There's a lot of excitement around because of that. So you have the two stories going on.
You know, there's also a lot of excitement here at Sports 9 in the fact that this is the first of 15 live Omaha Royal broadcasts that you'll be able to see on Cox Cable. And, of course, with the help of Bill Gorman, Mr. Roy Kaufman, and the rest of the Royal staff, it's really been a great cooperative effort. And, you know, as I said, we're excited here because this will be our third year covering Royals baseball. But this will be the first time that every game we do will be live. There's only one exception. It'll be the tape delay broadcast exhibition between the Kansas City Royals and the Omaha Royals. I think the excitement is genuine in the fact that when Mr. Cherry, it was announced that he bought the ball club right away, the relationship, I think, with the media, will say, in marketing the ball club, took a big change. Not that Kansas City wasn't a good owner for the team, because obviously they developed the players they needed, and with that farm system, I mean, they've been in the playoffs, been to World Series, so you can't argue with that. But when you have independent ownership, I think maybe the relationship with the community can become just a little bit closer than it has been.
Mr. Cherry, Torrey, has put a lot of money into this franchise. He wants to make a go of it. He just can't come out here and say this is totally for fun. Now, he's in his retirement years, and he wants to get back into baseball. He's there, but marketing is the key word here. Kansas City is not that far away. They don't mind people going down there to see their games. So now we're going to market this team here, the Omaha Royals, AAA baseball. They're up here in Omaha, down here in a fine ballpark, Rosenblatt Stadium, and that's the important thing right now, is to get Omaha people behind this team with the new ownership.
You know, that's an important thing, that we've talked about that at length at the Sports 9 production office, and the fact that, you know, obviously we want the Omaha Royals to have a good season in the American Association, which itself as a league has gone through a facelift with new ball clubs from different cities. But we want you to come on out this year, especially this year. The Omaha Royals, that's what it says, Omaha Royals. And this is Omaha, and we think the fans should come out and support the ball club. And, you know, it makes a difference when you go into the last three innings and you're at home, and there's a good 9, 10, 11,000 people out there just screaming and yelling for you to get going. Talked with a lot of ball players before the ball game tonight and at the banquet on Tuesday, and they all felt the same thing when they go to Denver, when they go to Louisville, when they've been in places like that, and the Royals have been ahead in those late innings. Well, then the Denver crowd gets going for the Zephyrs, or the Oklahoma City crowd gets going for these 89ers, and it pumps up the home team. And Brian Polberg said for the visitors it becomes a zoo. So it'd really be nice to see those turnstiles clicking.
Louisville has had so much success with their franchise, and Omaha is a fine, fine sports town. There's no reason this city of over 500,000 people in the metro area can't get out here, Torrey, and see this team play baseball. We've had a lot of outside media people wondering, is Omaha going to get behind this team? They believe it can happen, and there's just so much to this AAA baseball. All winter, reading the Sporting News or Sports Illustrated, Torrey, we saw that players that we covered the last couple of years, a guy like Nelson Simmons with Detroit, of Vince Coleman, Darrell Boston. They're in the major leagues. We're just one step below the major leagues, and that highway over there in Iowa is not that far away from Royal Stadium in Kansas City.
Well, we'll get to see these AAA ball players as the Royals open up their 85 season tonight live on Cox Cable Omaha Sports Night against Oklahoma City, and we'll be back with pregame festivities right after this.
The CBN Cable Network, the family entertainer. All family entertainment all the time, featuring hit shows with proven success that bring the family together. Popular westerns, hilarious classic comedy shows, sizzling excitement with afternoon game shows, midday programming featuring women's favorites, children's programs, and the Family Hour featuring Flipper and Gentle Ben, plus memorable movies. Wholesome family entertainment 24 hours a day on the CBN Cable Network, the family entertainer.
As we are getting ready for the home opener of 1985 for the Omaha Royals, Oklahoma City 89ers come in, and they're going to be throwing a man who is yet to win a game this year. He's just 0-1. His name is Jose Guzman, and the guy has an assortment of pitches. Terry, Dave Oliver, the 89er manager, was telling us this guy throws everything in the book.
Yeah, we were talking to John Quinlan, the Oklahoma City radio play-by-play man, Tori, and that was about 3 hours ago, and he's the only one up in the press box, and we walked in, and he comes up and says, Guzman's going to throw fastball curve, change on the curve, slider, and all kinds of stuff. Usually, you're only going to have 2 to 3 good pitches that you're going to have confidence in, and that's usually all you need, but it's a good assortment this pitcher's going to have. It's going to be fun to see the pitching patterns this year.
Okay, what is going on now? They are introducing the starting batting order for the Oklahoma City 89ers.
Oklahoma City leads off with number 14, the center fielder, Odabe McDowell. That's a name that is well known in this ballpark, and it's going to be interesting to see Odabe, the former Arizona State star, played in many College World Series here in Omaha. He's in center field, batting second. Nick Capra, the right fielder. He's followed by Jeff Kunkel, a highly regarded shortstop in the Texas Ranger system. Kunkel will be wearing number 20. In the cleanup spot, number 7, the designated hitter is Dave Stockstill. He's followed by the catcher, Orlando Mercado. Batting 6th is number 24, the first baseman, Mike Rubel. Batting 7th is a third baseman. We saw him last year with Oak City, Steve Buechele. The left fielder batting 8th is number 10, Bob Brower. And the second baseman batting in the 9th position is Greg Tabor for the Oklahoma City 89ers. And they have Guzman on the mound.
Before we get to the Omaha Royals starting batting order, yesterday, Tuesday, the annual Welcome Omaha Royals to Omaha luncheon was held. Record-breaking attendance. And as usual, His Honor, Mayor Mike Boyle was there to welcome the Royals back to Omaha, as he does every season when they come up from Florida. And we at Sports 9 were there to tape the entire banquet. And here's a segment of that, and this is what the mayor had to say on his welcoming speech. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulty. I guess we can be guilty of opening day jitters on that one. I mean, you always talk about that opening day, and something happens to a ball player who normally is steady. They always blame it on opening day jitters. Well, I'd like to think that our crew is normally steady. I mean, I don't know if our boss really feels that way. But anyway, we'll get to the Mayor Boyle clip later on. But it was a really fine luncheon, and they're telling me we're ready for it now. Okay, let's take it away with the mayor then. Go ahead.
Welcome all Omaha Royals fans. It's a real treat to be here again. Seems like it was just a short while ago. I was visiting with Gus Cherry, who is a great man, and just really a great addition to Omaha. And the commitment that he's made, and the Kansas City Royals as well, 5 years, is really unheard of, and I hope all of us really appreciate that. And the way we appreciate that is by turning out and getting our friends out to the ballpark. I was visiting with Gus just a few minutes before the program started, and we're talking about what he needs and what I need, and it's the same thing, a good turnout. So be sure you go watch the good games. Thanks.
His Honor Mayor Mike Boyle welcoming the Omaha Royals as you see them being introduced right at this moment. They will line up on their side of the field, third base side, their home side.
Omaha will lead off with second baseman Rondon Johnson, a familiar name in this ballpark. Batting second, probably the top prospect in the Kansas City Royals organization, center fielder John Morris. Batting third, another very highly regarded prospect, the designated hitter Butch Davis. In the cleanup spot, a red-hot bat, left fielder Dave Leeper had a tremendous weekend, Torrey, out in the opening series against Denver. Batting fifth, the first baseman, he'll wear number 29, going to bring a lot of major league experience to this team, Pat Putnam. Another player in that same situation for the Omaha Royals will bat sixth tonight and play catcher. It's Jamie Quirt. Batting seventh is a right fielder, number 26, Mike Kingery. He's followed by a fine defensive third baseman, number 25, Bill Pecota. And batting ninth, talk about a defensive player, the shortstop, Jimmy Scranton. And we have Mike Griffin, the right-hander, on the mound for Omaha, coached by Gene Lamont. The manager Lamont in his second season here. He was previously in the Southern League at the Royals' old Jacksonville team, and that team moved on to Memphis then after Avron Fogelman bought the Kansas City Royals, or bought half of the Royals.
Well, you know, one name that, familiar name in Omaha all year round, but most notably during baseball, who is not here, Jerry Cram, of course, being promoted within the Royals organization, and he is in charge of all the pitchers in the entire Royals organization. Rich Doobie from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, is the pitching coach now for Omaha. He was with Memphis last year, and had a nice talk before the ball game with Rich, and kind of talked over some old times about the home area. I was surprised to find out that he did come that close to my hometown. So we had some good talks. We went down memory lane, as it were, in baseball.
Torrey, of interest to the fans, the player development director for the Kansas City Royals, he's in town, Dick Balderson, and he's been in the organization for a number of years. A real right-hand man to executive vice president and general manager of the Kansas City Royals, John Scherholtz. So he was here talking to the players. He was sitting down in the dugout before the game. And you're going to see that all summer. I remember John Scherholtz and some of his scouts were up here in the middle of last year. And we'll see that parade of scouts down here at Rosenblatt Stadium this year.
Well, as usual, the AAA leagues will always bring people from all over baseball to watch out, check out players, see if they can make a deal for some of the players during the season. They need help. As the season gets on, you get into the dog days if you're in a pennant race and all that sort of thing. So, as we said before, you know, of course, AAA is just one step away from the majors, and there's some, as we've seen tonight, there are a lot of major league experienced ball players in both these lineups. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that flare above bursting in air, yea, through the night, but our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
sung by Mr. Stan Schmidt, opening day 85. And, of course, Stanley has been in Omaha for quite a number of years, and he has sung the national anthem at Rosenblatt Stadium for quite a number of ball games. And I guess you kind of say it wouldn't be complete to have an opening home opener without Stan singing the national anthem. Right now, what we have at home plate, there you see the gentleman shaking hands with the umpires, Mr. Irving Gus Cherry, the new owner of the Omaha Royals. Whale of a gentleman, great individual. The man is very excited about this ball club. At the banquet, he said that he'd bring us a winner. On the left there, you see Mr. Bill Gorman, general manager here for a number of years in Omaha, and still around, and he's doing a great job as he does every year. But the excitement that Mr. Cherry has brought to this city by purchasing the Omaha Royals, at least this is the first time since I've been in the city of Omaha that this much excitement and enthusiasm has been directed toward the Omaha Royals.
Tori, it's a lot like '69 when the Royals first came here after the Kansas City Royals were created in that American League expansion that year. And there's Gene Lamont in his second year. He's going to be wearing number 32 this season. He was 26 last year. And the Oklahoma City manager there is Dave Oliver. He will be in his first season with the 89ers. Tom Burgess was the helmsman for the 89ers last season. Gus Cherry, Mr. Cherry, so excited before this game. He was watching batting practice, and there was so much going on, Tori, at that banquet, and everybody was just so intent on hearing what he had to say about this team. Of course, those people at that banquet are real backers of this team, and they want to know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you notice that Gene Lamont's number is 32. You know, Terry and I talked about so many different things in baseball, superstitions, style of uniform. 32, I guess, would be one number that a pitcher would want to stay away from. And I'm trying to think of the pitcher for the old Washington Senators, and he was a starter, but he didn't care. He'd wear 32. That didn't bother him at all. He kind of like the ball players that wear number 13 anymore. That's not an unlucky number for people. A lot of ball players decide they're going to take number 13, but the superstitions involved in baseball, such as if team is in a slump, and then they happen to win a couple of ball games, and a ball player is either wearing a pair of stirrups, one of them has a tear in them, or he didn't wash his socks for 2 straight games and they won, so they continue not to wash their socks. You know, you wonder if the superstitions get down to the Little League level, and the parents of the child who doesn't wash his socks for an entire season. So baseball, I guess, it's truly America's game. It's a national pastime. It's a great game, great sport, and really like to see the people in Omaha come out and support the Omaha Royals. You're going to see some good baseball, and you're going to see some different names with Buffalo, Nashville in the leagues now, whereas Wichita, familiar names of Wichita and Evansville are no longer in the association.
Oh, we've come up with some new numbers for the Omaha Royals this year. Rondon Johnson was 2 last year, and he's number 6. Morris stayed with number 8, and as long as he continues to play center field the way he did last year, that's fine. Butch Davis, 15. Dave Leeper was 9 last year. Jamie Quirk wore number 9 for Denver last season. He was in the White Sox organization. And here's a situation, Tori, where the opening series in Omaha, and Dave Oliver wants to get the ground rules settled with the umpiring crew.
And the Omaha Royals have taken the field as we get a look at the Blue Crew. There they go, the home Omaha Royals. You're going to see some different names in the lineup as we go through the ball game tonight.
There were some real battles in spring training in the Kansas City organization we'll be able to talk about. There's the man of the hour.
Could be the man of the year as far as the Omaha people are concerned. Gus Cherry, former left-handed pitcher in the Cubs organization. Now, that was his sinker. It rolled off the table just a little too soon. Jamie Quirk, the starting catcher for the Omaha Royals, out to shake his hand. And that guy's a real popular guy. He's won the hearts of the people in this city, that's for sure. The baseball fans, you bet. Listen to this ovation for him. He deserves it. He's brought baseball back to life in Omaha. Super excitement. And, you know, we're happy at Cox to be able to bring you these games live, but if you're at home watching this game now, make plans to come out to Rosenblatt Stadium during the season. They're home. They're going to be playing the 89ers. They've a whole slate of games coming in. They have that exhibition game May 8th with the Kansas City Royals, which, of course, they had last year, and it turned out to be a good night. San Diego chicken will be coming into Rosenblatt twice this year, in May and in July. Maybe I ought to check that. Possibly it's June and July. I'll check that. But I know the chicken's coming in twice this year. And all kinds of good things out here at Rosenblatt Stadium, but most of all, professional baseball.
And there's a player with some major league experience, pitched with the Yankees, had an interesting confrontation out in Denver against their catcher, Brad Golden, in the opening night loss the Omaha Royals suffered out there. He was a teammate in the Yankees organization with Golden, and Golden had a big night against Mike Griffin out there. But Griffin pitched well, and Gene Lamont has become, over the last few days, more excited about this pitching staff. He was worried about it at the beginning, and he still has to worry about it because Omaha has always had the good pitching. It's the hitting you're worried about, particularly in this part. But Mike Griffin, a good right-hander, and then we'll see the left-hander tomorrow night, so get out here and see Tony Ferreira, a very highly thought-of prospect. Worked in relief last year, long relief, and did some starting, and he'll drop down, throw that sidearm. Tori, it's so easy to get to this ballpark. You just jump on the interstate. If you live out in West Omaha, get off at 13th Street. It's just a tremendous all-American minor league baseball park.
Yeah, the wind, which was really pretty strong earlier this afternoon, not as brisk, but it is still every once in a while. Pat Putnam, about 3:30, was taking some batting practice. Of course, Putnam bats from the left side, and he hit a couple over the left field fence. So that wind is definitely blowing that way. Getting ready to start the ball game. There's the 89ers lineup right there. Terry read it off for you earlier. Oda B. McDowell, Nick Capra, and Jeff Kunkel, the scheduled first three batters to lead off top of the first. Kunkel off the McDowell off the left side, batting at .286. No home runs. He has a run batted in. Of course, this young man causing a lot of excitement during the College World Series, and he was an integral member of that Olympic baseball team. And we got to see that team play here last year against the Japanese All-Stars, who eventually went on to win first place and take the gold in the Olympic baseball competition against the United States. Of course, they had to beat the USA to get the gold. McDowell with an 0-1 count. Pacoda up in front of the bag down at third base, playing pretty much straightaway hitter. When this wind blowing, you never know. Morris is immediate normal depth in center field. Mike Kingery in right. Dave Leeper, probably the hottest hitter in baseball right now, playing at left field.
Well, that's what McDowell will do to you. He forces the infield. In this case, Pacoda up at third. That's a bad angle against this batter.
Straightaway center field. Morris has to go back to the track, and he one-hands it in front of the fence. Right underneath the Cox Cable center field camera. There you see Roger Simonson out there braving the winds. So we have one away.
Batting second, right fielder, number 1.
That'll bring up the right fielder, Nick Capra, number 1. He'll bat from the right side. Capra batting an even 200, no home runs, and a run batted in.
Torrey Morris doesn't want to mess around with a fancy leaping grab. He's going to get himself in position with his speed and make that play look routine. He just gets out there and gets set like he was standing there all the time.
Griffin's pitch, a little wrinkle at the plate for a strike. Hit that corner. 89ers, of course, come into Omaha 3-1. The Royals opposite at 1-3. Again, right there, 0-2, quickly ahead of the pitch. That's something that we'll see a lot of Griffin. He'll stay a lot ahead of most of the hitters.
Royals outfield playing Nick the opposite way, and Griffin's going to pitch him that way. He knows the way his defense is set.
Wrapped right back. It goes over the mound. Scranton in the back of the bag. Throws to first. They got him. Jimmy Scranton with a heck of a play out at shortstop. We have 2 away.
Going to his left. He could do that to his right. Exactly what a shortstop needs. The Omaha Royals, last year they had the problems, and they had a tough season down the stretch, but there was never any question about this team's ability defensively up the middle.
Well, they're tough with R.J. Rondon Johnson at second base, and, of course, Scranton at shortstop. You showed Showed you just how good he really is. 2 outs. And we'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Jeff Kunkel, at 333. No home runs, 5 runs batted in. Off the handle number, back to Griffin. They're out in order in the top of the first. Score that one 1-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. And after half an inning, it's Oklahoma City nothing, and the Royals coming up.
Now, a fast, convenient way to pay your Cox Cable Omaha monthly bill if you pay with a check or money order. For payments in the exact amount listed on your bill, use our handy night deposit boxes at any of 3 Cox Cable Omaha locations: 5011 Capitol Avenue, 115th and West Dodge Road, and our newest drop box location on the south side of Ames Avenue at 49th Street. If you have a check or a money order for the exact amount listed on your bill, make your payments easier. Just drive by any of our 3 drop box locations and leave your payment envelope in one of our specially marked drop boxes. At our new Ames Avenue location, look for the drop box on the west side of the building. Handy night deposit boxes for your cable payments made by check or money order in the exact amount. Now at 3 convenient locations. Another customer service from Cox Cable Omaha.
There they are. I don't know, Terry, is that are we waiting for the line?
The lights of Council Bluffs, Iowa, out there at the 80 interchange with 275, looks like. Now we're going to get these umpires set. What an exciting top half of the first inning defensively for the Omaha Royals. And the men calling the balls and strikes. In this case, it will be John Flores behind the plate. At first base, we'll see Gary Cederstrom. At second, Mark Hirschbeck. And at third base, Larry Young. And as the season moves along, we'll sometimes see a 3-man crew in the association working the games. Look at that diamond, Torrey. This field is just in fantastic shape. And what weather we have for an April evening in the Midwest.
Well, you know, Frankie Mancuso is never fully satisfied with the field because he always feels it can be better than it is. But I talked to him today, and he was pretty well happy with the way the field has turned out. There you see Rondon Johnson, a native of Seattle, lives back there during the offseason. Rondon, pretty steady player for the Royals last year, lead off at second base. So far, he's batting .263, has no home runs, and 2 runs batted in. On deck will be John Morris to follow him, a familiar name in Omaha. Butch Davis lifted to the left side. Kunkel out, but it'll be Brower in left field to make the catch for the out, and we have 1 away. So John Morris, the center fielder, the player of the year in the Southern League 2 seasons ago. He's batting .294, has no home runs and a run batted in. Plays a good center field. And, well, Gene Lamont said it right at the banquet the other day when he said that John didn't feel he had the season he should have had personally, but he came into this AAA season last year with a lot of pressure on him. The way he produced down there in the Southern League, that pitch is over for a strike.
Torrey, this guy made a catch in center field against Rupert Jones early last season. Jones with Evansville. It was just out of this world.
Line shot, center field. McDowell back. He'll make a one-handed grab for out number 2. So both center fielders have flown out to each other. Oda B. McDowell. Just look at him. A lot of speed. Good hitting.
Yeah, the same thing, a reverse. For them, McDowell has that same ability. Could cover a lot of ground out there in center field.
Tell you what, Butch Davis, he has a lot of spike tracks out there in left field here in Rosenblatt. The guy won several ball games on Cox 9 the first year we did Royals baseball. He comes into this game at .235. He's a designated hitter. No home runs and a couple of runs batted in. Butch will get you the big hit, as will the man who's on deck, Dave Leeper. Guzman misses. Pretty much straight away for the outfield for the 89ers, and down at third base, Duchel is back of the bag. 2-1 the count. 2 outs from the bottom of the first inning, and there's no score between the Royals and Oklahoma City. A home opener for the Royals, 1985. Missed, blown away, ball 3. And as we said before, and if you haven't noticed this already, the new owner, Gus Cherry, causing a lot of excitement, drawing attention to this Omaha Royals club. And we hope that 1985 is a good year for him on the field and in the stands. Fouled off. Looked like Mercado might have taken that off the mask.
Guzman came in with the fastball that time. Butch had a pretty good cut. He was looking for that pitch, but on 3-1 and 2-0, that type of ball strike count situations, you can't always expect the fastball. Baseball's changed a little bit in that regard over the last few years.
Davis went after that one, full up now.
The coaching of pitchers has improved so much over the years, and pitching coaches are really getting the publicity they deserve now, Torrey. And last year, the king of the pitching coaches had to be Roger Craig with Detroit. He wrote a book over the season.
Takes the plate, fouls it back. Gene Lamont coaching down the third base box, and Rich Doobie in first base box for the Omaha Royals. As we said, Rich Doobie, first time in Omaha, up from Memphis. Three-two delivery by Guzman. Opposite field, base hit. Butch Davis goes with the pitch. He's going to try for 2. No, takes the big turn and puts on the brakes. Well, Davis will do it for you every time. And that brings up the hottest hitter around, Dave Leeper. Leeper batting at .526. No home runs and 2 runs batted in, and Leeper did not miss making the big leagues by much.
Quite a situation for Gene Lamont. He constructs this lineup with Johnson, Morris, Davis in order to get someone on base for Dave Leeper. And in this situation, we have Butch Davis on first base after a nice inside-out swing.
Leeper goes after the first pitch right to the shortstop, unassisted force out. And the Royals are gone in the bottom of the first. They got no runs. There was 1 hit, and there was a runner left on base.
1 hit,
So,
and 1 left.
no score at the end of 1 complete inning. Want to remind everybody of the special nights. We have May 9th with the Kansas City Royals, and the Chicken will be here May 25th and July 27th. You know, also at the banquet, they had this guy nobody recognized because he was wearing normal clothes. Then he got up there, and he peeled off his shirt, and he took off his trousers, and he's in shorts, and he's got a Royals jersey on. Mad Mike made his appearance at the banquet, and he had a few things to say about fans' apparel at Rosenblatt Stadium this year.
So, when you come out there, you put on blue. You put on blue. I know there isn't a lot of blue in Nebraska. But we're going to start a new trend, right? Right! Talk from the heart, right?
Right? Right.
Okay,
Don't
by
argue
me.
with that guy. No, Mad Mike Lyons, a real popular figure down in Kansas City and at Memorial Stadium down in Lincoln. And now he made his appearance last year at Rosenblatt, and he's here tonight.
He was going crazy at the Nebraska-Oklahoma game last year in Memorial Stadium, and some of the stuff he came up with that day was just crazy. Remember him last year at the Kansas City exhibition game? I think that was his first real performance down here at Rosenblatt.
Well, it was incredible because he, it's true what he said. I want you to wear blue when you come out to the ballpark, and he knows there's not a lot of blue in Nebraska, but find something blue and come on out to Rosenblatt. Watch these Omaha Royals play. Going to the top of the second inning, and the 89ers will start off with their designated and cleanup hitter, Dave Stockstill, who's batting .214, has no home runs and no runs batted in. Facing Mike Griffin, that first pitch just outside for a ball, 1-0.
Stockstill's in a good situation in this fourth spot. He bats left-handed, and if someone is on ahead of him, you have the first baseman causing quite a hole over there, Torrey, because he's covering and holding on that runner at first. the theory is that the left-handed batter is going to pull most of the time to his right into right field, and vice versa for a righty.
Again, he just misses, trying to keep it outside on Stockstill. And of course, when you have a cleanup power hitter such as Stockstill, and the way this wind is blowing too, you don't want to give him anything too close to his target area, because otherwise he gets it up in there and that thing's going to take off on you. There's the strike. As we mentioned before, Griffin, if he's true to form, will not be behind the hitters much during this ball game. In this case he is, but it's probably going to be one of the few times you'll see it. Swing and a miss, strike two. Got him on a fastball.
Good movement on Griffin's pitches. And a lot of good velocity, good stuff on it. You have to have that fastball move a little bit. If it doesn't, you're going to end up with a batting practice pitch, unless it's going 95 miles an hour or something like that.
Outfield, of course, playing Stockstill to hit toward right. But he pops it up to the left side. It'll be Pacoda in foul territory. Up the line, he makes the one-handed grab, and there's one away. That'll bring up the catcher, Orlando Mercado. Mercado at 333, no home runs, 2 runs batted in.
Orlando Mercado.
And he'll be batting from the right-hand side. And we'll check the outfield and see if they make compensation. John Morris really not moving too much in the center field position from where he was when Stockstill was up. Now he takes a couple steps toward left. Right back to the box. Griffin gloves it easily over to first base, and we have 2 away. So Mike Griffin with 2 assists on ground balls so far tonight. The number 6 hitter, Mike Rubel, down at first base for Oklahoma City at 143, no home runs and a run batted in. So with those 2 outs now, the no runners on, of course, the infield obviously can play relaxed somewhat, although you don't want to give a guy like this the line. So Pacoda, although he is back of the bag with 2 outs, is watching that line very carefully down at third base.
They're very high on Pacoda defensively at third, and if you're a good, quick third baseman, it'll allow you to play over and help the shortstop a little bit, still be able to get to the line.
Took a little bit off that one, came overhand on it, he missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
For an infielder, that first step is so important. Not forward, I'm talking about to the right or to the left, laterally, and I think that's important in any sport, Torrey.
There's a line shot in the left field, foul. That's exactly what we're talking about. Well, you watch the American flag in straightaway center field, and it's flapping around. Sometimes it'll be pointed straight out. Other times it'll be waving toward left field. So the wind is blowing around once you get the ball up there. 2-1 delivery right down the line, and it's fair. It gets past Pacoda. Could be 2. Mercado rounding first as the ball gets hung up down there in the bullpen area. Leaper gets it in. And the 89ers have their first runner of the night, a double right up the third base line.
And it puts Dave Oliver, the manager of the 89ers, in a good position this early. He has a runner in scoring position. He doesn't have to worry about this one-run strategy versus the big inning, because that's tough to tell. You really have to know a lot about your pitcher to see if one run early in a game is going to stand up. Is your pitcher going to be able to hold that? That type of business puts the runner right in scoring position right away, Torrey.
For Mike Rubel, that is his first 2-bagger of the season. And that brings up Steve Buechele, who's batting .231, has no home runs and run batted in. Pitches outside. John Flores behind the plate. Familiar names among the umpires, of course, this year. Gary Cederstrom at first base, Mark Hirschbeck at second, and Larry Young down at third. Bob Brower is the scheduled on-deck hitter. Want to know the count of the batter. There's 2 down, a runner at second base. We're in the top of the second inning. No score between the Oklahoma City 89ers and Omaha Royals, and this, the Royals' 1985 home opener. Scranton down at second base. They didn't get him. It was close. He decoyed the runner. The pitch came in. And Jamie Quirk with a heck of a throw down to second base. That was close.
And
Very close.
Torrey, I don't think Rubel was expecting to be decoyed by Scranton in this situation. There's a right-handed batter at the plate, and usually in that situation, the decoy chores are left to the second baseman on the right side of the infield. What a play by Scranton, timed beautifully.
2-0 the count. Well, that'll make the runner a little more wary down at second base. Pitch just misses. 3-0 now. So Griffin behind on this hitter. Brower listed as number 10 on the roster. He is wearing number 15, who on the 89ers roster belongs to Bob Sebra, who is former University of Nebraska Cornhusker baseball player. Again, they go back to second base on the timing pickoff play, but Rubel in plenty of time, but they're making Michael out there think just a little bit on the base paths.
He has Griffin looking at him, then looking to the plate. Mike has to make his stop out of that legal set position in his pitching delivery, and then he has to worry about Scranton decoying behind him.
Shell asks for time, and John Flores accommodates him.
So it's not a total situation of, wow, that base runner really puts the pressure on the pitcher. It could work both ways a lot.
Well, he walked him on 4 pitches. First walk of the ball game. And that'll bring up Bob Brower, as we said. Looking for his first hit.
Number 10, Bob.
However, he does have a run batted in this season. So now they have runners at first and second. And the right-handed hitting Brower steps in. Griffin now from the stretch. Took a little bit off that one to put it over for a strike. On deck hitter, the second baseman, Greg Tabor. 0-1. Griffin checks the run as he comes in. That one hit him on the elbow. Got away from Griffin. So the bases are loaded now. Not a situation that I think Griffin expected when he took the mound at the start of this inning. So with 2 outs, the 89ers have loaded the bases, and the number 9 hitter in the lineup, Greg Tabor, steps in. A right-handed hitting second baseman batting at 143, has a run batted in this year.
Omaha still in a position with 2 outs where they have a force at any base, and they could play their defense in the infield way back. Rondon Johnson standing pretty much on the grass there at second.
I'm wasting any time. He's not messing around with a hitter either. He just burned that one right in for a strike.
Torrey, you have that runner on third base, and this is where your defense wants to have a lot of confidence in a catcher, in this case Jamie Quirk, and the pitcher is really in a situation where he wants to get his breaking stuff over.
Did he check his swing? They appealed down to third. It's a strike.
You could keep that pitch low because you know that my catcher's going to stop it. He could go down, he's going to block it, he's going to give me a good target, and I don't have to worry about throwing my breaking stuff that might get away. He's going to be there.
0-2. So Griffin's got himself in a good position right here with the bases loaded. First 2 pitches over for strikes. That one takes for a ball, 1-2. So all this has happened with 2 outs. Rubel doubled up the third base line. Duchel walked, and then Brower was hit by a pitch. And the bases are full with 89ers. 1-2 delivery. Curveball, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Griffin gets out of this inning in fine fashion with his first strikeout of the ball game. And the 89ers come up empty-handed. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and they left 3. After 1.5, there's no score between Omaha and Oklahoma City.
That's right. At Krusty's Pizza, if you buy an extra pizza, you get another one free. With 15 toppings to choose from, Krusty's Pizza is a great taste treat. Krusty's also has submarine sandwiches and salads. There's 2 convenient locations at 40th and Dodge and 120th and Center, not to mention the free delivery service. So next time you're hungry for pizza, call Krusty's and say, extra, extra.
Are you interested in learning more about the game of golf? If so, the Iowa Golf Show is for you. I'm golf professional J.D. Turner, inviting you to join me every week on Cox Cable. I'll give you in-depth instruction on all the various elements of golf to help you improve your game. And we'll interview a number of local golf professionals and experts. Let's give you golf tips and features. So watch the Iowa Golf Show every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Cox Cable, Channel 9.
We spoke about earlier tonight, Mad Mike, and he is really mad. He came out here last year. We talked about it. He was here for the Kansas City exhibition. I think he sleeps with a drum. It's incredible. And it's really funny because when he asks you, well, doesn't really ask you, he screams at you, are you ready? You don't have a choice. You're going to answer yes. This guy really great. Gets into the crowd. He gets people going. And couldn't happen on a better night. Home opener for this season. Tremendous.
95th of the Royals lineup, first baseman, number 29.
Well, Royals are scheduled to send up Pat Putnam, Jamie Quirk, and Mike Kingery. 3 new names to Omaha for the 1985 season. Putnam, of course, no stranger to the bigs.
Played with Texas, came up with the Rangers, Seattle, and Minnesota last year. And we'll be able to talk about Putnam here after Torrey gives you the play-by-play here.
Now, that pitch got away from Guzman. Putnam, of course, batting for the left side. As I said earlier, he was taking some batting practice earlier this afternoon and didn't seem to be hurting at all.
It's really great, Torrey, that Putnam gets in here. A lot of major league experience to help this team, because you look at a club like Louisville, they came in with a guy like Andy Hassler last year. He was a lot of major league experience as a pitcher, and he's up with St. Louis right now. And the Redbirds also had a Gary Racich. They had that good major league experience, some veterans kind of on the downside in Hassler's case, but they really helped that club.
Well, Guzman seeming to know well of Putnam's ability to put the ball out of the ballpark, pitching him really tight. 2 balls and a strike to count to Putnam. Hit in the right field for a base hit. So the Royals get their leadoff hitter on in the second inning. And it'll bring up Jamie Quirk, another former major leaguer.
Hey, Torrey, promise me that you will not tell Andy Hassler that I said he was on the downside of his career. A good-sized baseball player.
Well, Jamie, of course, no stranger to the Royals organization. Big swing and a miss, number 9 from the left side. He was signed to his first contract by Rosie Gilhausen of the Kansas City Royals, and he was the Royals' first selection in June of 1972. Free agent draft in a regular phase. Free agent draft. Native of Whittier, California, now resides in Overland Park. And of course, people in this area are pretty familiar with Overland Park down at Kansas City. Even count to go over to first. Putnam back safely. Going to play that cat and mouse game. And there's that defensive disadvantage that we've talked about before. You hold that runner, especially with a left-handed hitter up, you give a big hole down the right side. 2 balls and a strike now to Quirk.
And it really hurts when you have a right-handed pitcher on the mound if he decides to come in with any type of breaking stuff, because that left-handed batter gets a good look at that pitch. A great vantage point.
Again, they make that play to first. You can hear Mad Mike in the background. Here's a shot in the hole. That's what happens when you hold that runner. Putnam puts the brakes on at second base as the throw comes in. So back-to-back singles in the right field. And the Royals have 2 runners on with no outs. Mike Kingery in right field. Kingery batting at .286. Looking for his first home run and his first run batted in, and he could get his RBI right here.
How about the little things of this game of baseball? That second baseman wants to play double play depth. If he's going to do that, he has to cheat over towards second base. At first baseman, he has to hold the runner. A lot of room, right side of that infield, and then you have a good left-handed batter like Quirk looking to go that way.
Now another left-hander for the Royals. Of course, Kingery from St. James, Minnesota, and last year he was down at Memphis. He was with the Sarasota Royals in 1980 at the Gulf Coast League. Was in Charleston for a couple of years. Then he went to Fort Myers in '83 and Memphis last year. Guzman's pitch. Fastball misses for a ball. On deck for the Royals, third baseman Billy Pacoda. See Putnam with his lead off second base. Here comes the pitch. Foul this way. It's over the roof. And the thundering herd to get out on the roof for a souvenir.
Torrey, Mike Kingery's father is in attendance in the stadium, and Mr. and Mrs. Huseman, the parents of Omaha Royal hurler Mark Huseman, I believe they're up here in the press box down on the first base side. Saw them come in at airtime. Schuyler, Nebraska residents.
Buechele is up on the grass down at third base on the infield grass. There's a shot to the gap in right center field. McDowell over, and he makes a fine running grab. Putnam will tag at second and go on to third, but what a play by McDowell in deep right center. Fine, fine play by McDowell. Kingery with a heck of a shot to the gap. But McDowell's speed proved valuable there. So we have one away, and Billy Pacoda, the third baseman, is up. Pacoda batting at .214.
I'll tell you, when you have a scorebook and you're keeping track of the game, you just put a little star on a play like that. No substitute for that speed, and that's the essence of playing center field. You have to cover so much ground. You really have to know what you're doing out there. That was a Ricky Henderson, Dwayne Murphy type play, Torrey.
That pitch is over for a strike. With one out, the Royals have runners at the corners.
There's another center fielder pushing to make the St. Louis lineup, and he's in Louisville, named Vince Coleman, who is also outstanding out there, a real speed merchant.
Guzman's pitch. Left, right at Brower. The tag by Putnam, and here comes a throw to the plate. They don't cut it. It's off the mark. The Royals lead it 1-0, and Quirk will go to second base as the ball cut by Mercado at catcher. So you credit Pacoda with a sacrifice fly, a run batted in. Putnam will score, and Quirk will go down to second base. I would imagine the error would be on the throw from left field. We'll have to wait and check it out.
And the other nice thing about that hit, it's the second stinger in this inning. Kingery being robbed out in center field by Odome McDowell the last out. Pacoda really got a hold of that pitch. So hopefully they're going to get around on Guzman a little bit.
That pitch is over for a strike to Jimmy Scranton. Jimmy, of course, switch hitter, started switch hitting in AAA. Tough time to start. Tough place to start.
Former Omaha Royal Mike Brewer tried it last year.
Up the line and right, it's fair. That'll score the Royals' second run. Scranton will go for two easily. The ball gets away from the right fielder, and Scranton puts the brakes on. Now he hits the third base. Bang, bang. Royals lead it 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning.
You play in a park like Rosenblatt Stadium, and if you get it in the corners here. It's going to rattle around a little bit down there. You can't bunch towards the middle if you're a right or left fielder because it will not curve around. You can't play that carom very well. Now, Dave Oliver is out talking to Gary Cedarstrom, the first base umpire, about what went on down there, talking about the ground rules. Dave Oliver also has to worry a little bit about these well-hit balls in this inning.
Well, that one will be scored a double with an RBI for Jimmy Sprint, and he goes to third on the error by the right fielder, Nick Capra. So the Royals, with 2 runs in now in the bottom of the second and 2 down, we go to the top of the order, and Rondon Johnson, who popped out the short and left, is up now. Drag bunt down the first base side. RJ with good speed. Can he beat the throw? No. Score that one 1-3. And this inning is over, but the Royals come up with a couple of runs. They did it on 3 hits. There were 2 89er errors, and the Royals left 1 runner. So after 2 complete, it is Omaha 2 and Oklahoma City nothing.
3 hits, 2 errors, 1 left.
The Royals
The car with the lights on.
advantage of all the opportunities that they can.
59.
Oh, is that aggressive play in this big ballpark, Dory? Typical Royals traditional style, trying to work the squeeze bunt there.
You'll turn to page 20 of tonight's
You know, everybody at Sports 9 hopes that you're enjoying tonight's game live on Cox 9. However, if you are a Royals fan, well, we want you to come on out to the stadium tomorrow and Friday night and support these Omaha Royals as they take on the same Oklahoma City 89ers. Tickets are available at the box office. Reserve seating is $4. General admission is $3. Children under 6 receive a $1 discount. So go for the action and support the Omaha Royals in 1985. We sure would appreciate it. We're glad that you're joining us tonight on Cox 9, but we really want you to come on out to Rosenblatt. And I'll tell you, the weather stays like this all summer. I'll tell you one thing, it's going to be great for watching baseball.
Last year we had our first telecast against Indianapolis on a Friday night, and it was really cold. It was a terrible night, and this has been good news for the college programs in this area. The weather has been fantastic, and when you're trying to put people in the ballpark, Mr. Cherry has to be very happy with this situation tonight. I talked to him about that before the game, and that really made him smile. But anything would have done that tonight, I think.
But I'll tell you again, as I said, it's just really refreshing. It'll be interesting to see how it continues to go through the 85 season as we get a look at some of the better-looking fans at Rosenblatt in the background there. Never underestimate Director Bill Norton. Not once will you go through, we have Kevin Murray on one camera and Jeff Talbot on the other. Out at center field, Roger Simonson. Those guys are never going to let a pretty face go by. Tom Baker's up here in the press box with us, only because Bake didn't get to do any Royal games last year, and he just wants the free food, so that's why he's up here in the press box with us.
Are you folks ringing that dinner bell again?
I am trying to lay off that stuff this year.
Yeah, we were talking about that weight retention.
Weight retention. Going to the top of the 3rd inning, the Royals lead at 2-0. We're at the top of the 89ers order, and it'll be center fielder Odeby McDowell, who is going to bunt this time toward the right side. Johnson in, and does he know? He does not get the speedy McDowell, as Putnam has trouble hanging on down at first base. And he'll be credited with a bunt single, and with McDowell's speed, I'll tell you what, it is tough. Last time up, McDowell sent a shot to straightaway center field that Johnny Morris caught right in front of the wall.
Nice play all the way around, and McDowell gets on base, and that's what really counts. You have to credit him with a beautiful push bunt, but did you see Johnson, a picture play at second? He knew he had to throw that thing sidearm as he grabbed it going by.
Well, McDowell has stolen 2 bases in 3 attempts so far this year, and Griffin understands that and keeps him close. Nick Capra, the right fielder, grounded a shortstop last time. He has yet to throw a pitch. Oh, close at first. Good move. Well, the veteran Griffin against the youngster McDowell.
Putnam's holding him on, another veteran.
I believe it was Joe Morgan that said that unless he could go in to first base head first, diving back to first base, on a pickoff attempt. He was too close to the bag. He felt that he had a decent lead if he was forced to dive head first back into the bag. Otherwise, he felt, I'm too close. If I can go in standing up, I need to get a wider lead. And McDowell seems to be following that rule, as every time back to the bag he's had to dive. Now, this has to be unnerving to the hitter. You know, this is all part of baseball, but you think about the hitter standing up there. He's been up here now for a minute or so, and the count is no balls and no strikes. Griffin will come to the plate as McDowell fakes a steal, and Griffin misses 1-0. Pat Putnam down at first base holding the runner, and again, you put the hole down to the right side, the difference being that Capra, batting from the right side, would have to go opposite field to take advantage of it. He can do it, but Griffin throwing fastballs, you don't expect to see it that much.
Griffin just doing the job for his defense here. Even a real good arm and catcher is not going to get many base runners if the pitcher does not hold that runner on first base. I don't care how good you are.
That pitch misses, 2-0 now. So McDowell, you know, you think about what's been going on in the cat and mouse game, and you'd like to think that this wouldn't bother a veteran like Griffin, but you look at it and it's 2-0, and he's thrown over to first base 6 times. If that might not just break up his concentration just a little bit. Another throw to first base.
Well, the Sporting News last season had a cover story on baseball's agitators, and it really chronicled Ricky Henderson, who was with Oakland at the time, and pressure they put on a defense. In this league, you have a Vince Coleman. Last year, you had Pendleton for a while with Louisville, and you also had a guy like Darrell Boston, who was with Denver in the White Sox organization. Great base runners.
Two balls and no strikes. Griffin continued and look at McDowell. You also wonder if this game might not lull McDowell a little bit. The on-deck hitter is Jeff Kunkel. McDowell fakes a steal once again and has to scurry back to first base. And now Griffin, I think I might have put the jinx on him. I said at the start of the ball game that you won't find him behind the hitters very much. He's 3-0. Pacoda, even with the bag down at third base, they are giving Capra a lot of room in the left field line. That pitch is over for a strike, 3-1.
Now's when things are really going to happen. McDowell figured the fastball there, and he stayed put. Now would be a real good time.
Griffin probably. Here's where you have to, as a runner, again, you play the thinking game with the pitcher. Ball 4. So that is Mike Griffin's second walk of the ball game, and that'll send McDowell down to second base. And it'll bring up the number 3 hitter, shortstop Jeff Kunkel. Last time, Kunkel grounded back to the pitcher. Now, first base umpire Gary Cederstrom is calling time for some reason. And now we're ready set to play as Griffin gets his no. Now he steps off the rubber. Royals coming up with 2 big runs in the bottom of the second inning to take this 2-0 lead. We're in the top of the third. Watching Royals baseball live on Cox Cable Omaha Sports 9. Glad you could be with us. This pitch is bounded foul down the third base line, and Griffin ahead 0-1. The on-deck hitter will be Dave Stockstill, a cleanup hitter. The wind continuing to blow. Beautiful evening, though. I mean, you're sitting in the grandstand area down in the boxes. You won't be affected too much by the wind because of the structure here at Rosenblatt. A couple of decoys, Johnson and Scranton out at second and short. Big swing and a miss. Got behind that one. Those kind of pitches will send you back to the dugout looking for another bat.
Texas, as an organization, very high on Jeff Kunkel, but they feel he might have been rushed into bigs a little too fast last year. That was the estimation of Mark Holtz, the Texas Ranger broadcaster. And Mark used to be here in Omaha, worked in the Royals front office.
Well, of course, down at Texas now, he's enjoying the big league play-by-play life. Dallas Mavericks in the NBA. He's been doing that type of play-by-play, and of course, Texas Ranger baseball. And 1-2 delivery. Took a little bit off that one. That'll be a base hit in the left field. Leaper charging. The runner around third, and they're going to let him score as the throw comes into third to hold the runners at first and second. So you give Kunkel a line drive RBI single into left, which scores McDowell from second base. Capra stops at second from going from first, and they cut the Royals' lead in half to 2-1 now, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter Stockstill.
There's Jeff Kunkel. Anything but overmatched on that pitch. As Torrey Pantaleon said, Griffin took a little off it, and you could really see Kunkel with serious weight retention in that situation. We got a real good view of that from our broadcast position, and you could just see the batter getting a real long look at that pitch coming towards the plate. And sometimes that could be a disadvantage. There are different schools of thought, but generally you want to see it as long as possible.
Check swing, could be a base hit. It's off Johnson's glove, and they can't make a play. Everybody's safe. Check swing, infield single. Rhonda Johnson doing a good job to get over to the ball, but he was going into the hole. Kunkel, with good speed, gets down to second to avoid the force, so Stockstill gets a base hit. And the bases are full of 89ers.
Well, that time Griffin nearly fooled Stockstill, so you have 2 infield hits in this inning. That was a check swing. The leadoff man, Odabe McDowell, was thinking infield hit all the way.
All right, Orlando.
Orlando Mercado, who grounded back to the pitcher in the second inning. Bases full. Lifts one toward left. Will it be Leaper or Morris? It looks like Dave Leaper. Runner tags at third, and this ball game is tied now at 2. So the 89ers, they left the bases loaded in the second inning, but they don't waste the runners this time, as Mercado will get a sacrifice fly and an RBI. And that ties the game at 2, and that's the first out of this inning. Brings up Mike Rubel, who doubled in the left field, just getting past third baseman Bill Pacoda up the line in the second inning. He died at third as the 89ers, I mentioned earlier, loaded the bases with 2 outs, couldn't get anybody in. So now they have 1 out, runners at first and second, and this ball game is tied at 2-2.
Griffin needs his best friend, the double play. And I would say the Royals have quite a keystone combination back there this year.
Swing and a miss for a strike. That was a good pitch. Again, Griffin will go to the fastball. Although he does throw 4 pitches. He has that changeup. Has a good changeup, Brian Polberg told me. Throws that slider and the curve, and he has a fastball. Foul off the handle. No balls and 2 strikes.
Dr. Double play. The most important moment and the most important job for the shortstop and second baseman is being able to turn the pivot and turn the double play. And Torrey, if they don't turn, if they don't at least get 1, they're really going to be in trouble as far as big innings go.
Well, they're going to need obviously the ground ball double play situation is the best, but a strikeout or a pop out right here would also be helpful. These 89ers can be tough. They played the Royals really tough last year. Griffin to the belt. Here's his pitch. Up high for a ball. So Rubel standing there having to play in the guessing game as we have action in the Royals bullpen down the left field. And it's a right-hander, and it looks possibly to be, could be Rennie Martin. We'll have to check it out. So Griffin will go back to work with a count of 1-2 on Mike Rubel. Off the handle in the left field, up the line. It'll score the 89ers' 3rd run. They'll get a runner to third. At least Leaper having trouble with the ball. Oliver's going to send a runner home, and he'll score. And it's 4-2. Billy Pacoda at third base took the relay, and he had a shot at getting Rubel, who had to dive head first back into second base. But he'll be credited with a 2-run double. Well, we'll check that and see what happens. They're going to give him a hit all the way, so it's a 2-run double for Rubel. And the 89ers lead it by a score now of 4-2. They've come up with 4 runs in this top of the third inning.
A tough breakdown there for the Royals, and that Pacoda didn't realize that he would have been able to throw behind Rubel going in the second. Rubel made the big turn, and you're supposed to do that, but he made that just a little too wide, and the Royals couldn't recognize it.
Well, Rubel sure likes that left field line, that's for sure. He has back with 2 consecutive up-the-line doubles. Steve Buechele steps up now. He walked his only time up. Well, the 89ers now have a runner out at second base with just 1 out. They loaded the bases, and they've got them all in, plus 1 more. 4-run rally here in the top of the third inning. Fastball misses for a ball.
Mike getting in that situation where he's throwing a lot of pitches, a lot of base runners, and if you go back to the first, remember you had great plays by Morris and Jim Scranton to keep the bases empty.
Went around on that one. That'll leave the count at 1-1. On deck batters the left fielder, Bob Brower. Follow him is Greg Tabor. Wrap toward Pacoda at third, backs him up. 1 big hop, throws to first, there's 2 down. Now they check the runner at second, and Rubel has to hold. So Buechele's out, third to first, and that'll bring up Brower, who was hit by a pitch his only time up tonight.
Good job defensively by Pacoda to look at the runner, Torrey, as you said, and Rubel, he wasn't going anywhere with the ball hit in front of him. But you have to do it.
Well, you know, that's the play they were looking for a couple pitches earlier. Got that one on the outside corner. Good pitch.
Great location. Good pinpoint on that one.
No balls at a strike. Pacoda now back of the bag at third base. Nice pitch. You know, Brower standing there playing a guessing game. It's tough to watch one of those come across the plate. Of course, probably had him handcuffed. I think he was quite ready for that one, so now he jumps way out in front at 0-2.
And now Bob really has to engage in a guessing game with Mike Griffin, and Mike has the advantage in this one.
And the right-hander delivers. Took some off that one, and that's fouled back up here on the roof on the first base side, so the count remains 0-2. Action still going on in the Royals bullpen down to the left field area. Griffin having a tough inning this time. They've scored 4 times. Had a bunt single, had an infield single on a check swing, and that liner up the line in left field by Rubel scored 2 runs. Pitch high and outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks like we have a healthy crowd, Terry. The boxes and the reserve seating areas pretty well full.
Let's keep it going.
Off the fist, right back to Griffin. This should do it. He's got him out 1-3. But it was a big inning for these 89ers. They came up with 4 runs on 4 hits. There were no Omaha errors. They left the runner on base after 2.5. Oklahoma City leads Omaha 4-2.
4 hits, no errors, and 1 back. George.
Attention, Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo will open in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, please. Just 5 minutes.
My lines! I can't see none of my lines. Go home.
My makeup, my makeup! makeup.
Wardrobe, I say wardrobe.
How do I look? Seriously, how do I look?
Hey, honey, give me a little kiss before I go on.
Okay, guys, this way.
Wrong way, guys.
Next going, Melvin.
My lines, my lines.
Ba 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 boo.
I want to talk to my agent.
Let me talk to your agent.
Take it from me. You've just got to keep cool.
Positions, everyone. Hey, no shoving. Hey, wait for me.
Hey, this place is a zoo.
Visit Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo and see how the stars live.
1 and 2 and...
You get a shot of the Royals dugout as we're getting ready to start the bottom of the third inning, and Omaha finds themselves behind 4-2 after jumping out front 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning. 89ers got hot, put together 4 runs on 4 hits, sacrifice fly, and they take the lead 4-2. For the Royals in the bottom of the third, it'll be John Morris, Butch Davis, and Dave Leeper all due up. Sounds in the background, the Mort Wells Dixieland Band. Johnny Morris up. Last time he flew deep to center field. Put Odabe on his horse.
When the Royals had their first hitting practice here in Omaha, John Morris really looked determined in the batting cage. That was, I think it was last Wednesday evening.
Starts him out with a big slow roller. Misses inside low.
That was some kind of Kansas City training camp down there this spring. Quite a story coming out of there.
Again, another changeup, and it's 2-0. Outfield pretty much straight away, although they play him deep and right. Out in left field, Brower in medium depth. 2-0 pitch. Misses now. 3-0.
If he could get that pitch that high with that type of velocity inside a little more, it's going to turn into a bad pitch, and John Morris is going to lose it.
Walked him on 4 pitches, so that's Guzman's first walk of the night. That'll bring up Butch Davis. Butch got the first hit of the ball game when he singled into right field. Davis, powerful hitter, good speed. Runner at first base, and they'll hold him. And the pitch comes to the plate. It's over for a strike.
Guzman going to work the pitch inside the fastball because this right-handed hitter trying to go for that hole on the right side of the infielder is going to have it a little tougher if you pitch him inside.
4-5-2 for the Royals. Wrap the shortstop. They could get 2 out of this. There's a force at second. Bang, bang. 6-4-3. 2 outs. Brings up the cleanup hitter, Dave Leeper. Leeper reached on a fielder's choice, which ended the first inning. Started to save 4-5-2 for Oklahoma City. 2-4-0 for the Royals.
Did you see Kunkel's hands give with that on a tough hop? It was a tough short hop. He just gave with it all the way, starting to turn that double play at short.
Gets it over for a strike, off-speed pitch. Well, you know, defensively, it's just so important that so many things have to happen just right for you to make the defensive play. You have to know when it's good to cut the angle down, also when it's good to circle a play in the infield. You might want to take the shorter route, straight line between 2 points, but on some ground balls, that'll have you throwing across your body or going the wrong way. Right back to Guzman. This inning is going to be over quickly. Score that one 1-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, no runners left. And after 3 complete, the score is Oklahoma City 4 and the Omaha Royals 2. Now, something new this year on Live Omaha Royals Baseball is that one of our sponsors, Krusty Pizza, will deliver a featured pizza of the game so that we can let you know our favorites, and you can order yours. Krusty's Pizza, I hear him in the background. What kind do you have for us today? Large extra, extra special. Well, that, I'll tell you what, extra, extra has become one of Krusty's trademarks here in Omaha. And I am going to, I promised my wife, I've lost 20 pounds in the last 3 weeks, but I'll tell you, tonight is cheat night, folks. One of the advantages of being up here in the press box, and last year they had a good time showing me eating all kinds of stuff. Well, tonight's not going to be any different. I want Bill Norton to get a good shot of this. You see, look at this. Look at this. Huh? It's great. It's good. Krusty's Extra Extra Pizza. I'll tell you what, this is really good stuff. It really is. You ought to try it. One of our sponsors this year for Live Omaha Royals Baseball. We're happy they're on board with us this year. I'm glad to be part of it. And, you know, you can order an Extra Extra Pizza. You get another one absolutely free. There are 2 convenient locations, 40th and Dodge and 120th and Center. And, of course, free delivery in those areas, so just call Krusty's and say Extra Extra for your extra Krusty's Pizza. And as I said, it's really good to have them on board this year. It was really good there. I don't know if I can call balls and strikes between bites, but...
Well, we're going to get NFL Films up here to take a shot of that one, Tori. We ought to send that to Canton.
Send it to Canton, huh? Moving to the top of the 3rd inning, and Greg Tabor will lead it off for the 89ers. The second baseman, he went down swinging his only time up. Facing Mike Griffin. That pitch, he almost got him to go for it. They appeal at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Don't be listening to Milton Berle when he says that live television is all over, because our sports director, Tori Pantaleon, just proved that that is not the case.
It's incredible the things.
Anybody have the Emmy Award ballot?
2 balls and a strike to Tabor. See if Griffin can settle down after that tough inning he had last time. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See if we could settle down.
Well, the Royals trying to fight back from this 4-2 deficit. Trying to hold these 89ers who've been swinging a hot bat. Counts even at 2-2. Just got a note. Inside joke, I guess. Fortunately, we're really not at liberty to share it with the audience, only because of brand names that are involved, but it's just an inside joke that happened last year. One of the many fans of the Royals and a fan of Cox 9 who comes to most of the ball games here just sent us a note up. As the count goes full, the Tabor at 3-2. That pitch misses high and inside, so Griffin walks his 3rd batter of the night. Tough way to start after you've given up 4 runs the inning before. Gene Lamont has already been out to the mound once. Odabe McDowell. Odabe flew deep to center field his first time up. Then he had a bunt single, a really nice drag bunt down towards second base. With his speed, Rondon Johnson made a good play, but he wasn't going to throw him out.
Tough to walk the 9th place leadoff hitter in an inning. You would have hoped to get Tabor and then face Odabe McDowell, and if he gets on first, maybe get a double play.
Does that throw to first, and he dives back. You know, I mentioned earlier special nights out at Rosenblatt this year. I want to remind you once again, May 9th, the Kansas City Royals will be here. The Chicken will be here twice, May 25th and July 27th. Odabe lifts that one foul. It'll be out of play. A lot of backspin on that ball. And you see the catcher, Jamie Quirk. On deck hitter is Nick Capra. Nick will be looking for his first hit tonight, although he did score a run in that 4-run inning third.
Look at McDowell do everything the same. Plants himself in the batter's box. Look at the weight retention on that back leg. He's going to force himself to stay back in the batter's box. George Brett, the similar stance, and that is a concept that Charlie Lau, the great hitting coach, really talked about a lot.
Wide open stance, too. You look at that, and now we've had a couple of timeouts called, and now Quirk wants to talk to Griffin.
Now, Brett isn't going to have that open a stance. And Odeby, and he had that stance, of course, at Arizona State, has to keep his head tucked in. Now, if he opens that hip and that leg too much, he will tend to look up too quickly and not keep his eye on the baseball. So that's something that Odeby has to be careful of, and he's proven he's quite capable of doing the job.
Continue to hold a runner at first base, and all kinds of games being played. So now Odeby decides it's time to talk to manager Dave Oliver. So he'll take that trot down the third base line. All kinds of gears turning. Still action in the Royals bullpen. Of course, this early in the season, too, you'll find guys that are just throwing down there to get a little bit of extra work in their arm. They want to stay warm. Of course, we started seeing action in that inning, that big inning. That one's fouled back again. So McDowell standing up there with an 0-2 count after a couple of timeouts and talk with their manager down at third base. Putnam holding the runner. Tabor at first again leaves that big hole down the first base line. Casual toss to first. Pacoda just behind the bag at third, but he's shaded towards shortstop because of the left-handed hitting McDowell. Odeby probably one of the best all-around natural talented ball players I've seen in a long time, and trying to crack that major league. Get up there with Texas. Tabor takes off. It'll have to return as McDowell fouls it at the plate.
Well, look how much pressure he will put on Scranton and Rondon Johnson, the keystone combination for the Royals. If they get a double play ball, when they go to turn that pivot, McDowell has great speed down the line, and it's going to be really tough to get him at first. We're not talking about Boog Powell in this situation.
So they'll start all over again. Tabor with his lead at first, an 0-2 count to McDowell. Outside. Waste the pitch. Griffin with a little bit of heat on that one. Outfield pretty much straight away. Morris in medium depth in center field, while Leeper is deep in left. Interestingly enough, Mike Kingery is in medium depth in right field. Now he takes a couple of more steps in. There goes the runner. They're going to make a throw to second base. Is it there? No. Slid underneath the tag. Johnson covering. So you give Tabor a stolen base. And on the air for Tabor, he is 3 for 3.
Oklahoma City will put the pressure on with speed. We love to talk about the Kansas City organization playing in a place like Royal Stadium and then their top farm club here in a big ballpark on the field dimension-wise here at Rosenblatt Stadium, but the 89ers with that pressure on. Bottom of the lineup, and here at the top with Odeby McDowell.
2-2 pitch outside makes it 3-2. So with a 4-2 lead and no outs, and the runner in scoring position, do you take a gamble with a Quirk behind the plate? You try to get your runner from second 90 feet closer to the plate? I know a lot of people argue against it. Lifted to center field. Morris has to go toward the gap. He's back underneath it. Makes a one-handed grab. Tabor tags at second. He'll move on to third, and they hold him there. So McDowell, after being at the batter's box for what seems an eternity, flies to center field, but the runner moves over on the tag up. So with one out, a runner at third, Nick Capra will come up. Capra has a ground out and a walk. He scored a run back in the third inning.
Morris is a dandy out there in center, isn't he, Corey?
Now it makes it look so easy.
Your strategy would have worked there if you could have had Tabor over at third. He would have easily scored on that one. And here are the Royals in one-run defensive strategy here in the fourth.
Now Capra gets a line shot. Of course, it'll take some great glove work to stop it from going through. Again, one of the defensive disadvantages when you put on some strategy. 1 ball, no strikes. On deck hitter is Jeff Kunkel. Two and 0 the count now.
Well, Capra had a ground ball in that first inning, but in this situation, Scranton would not be able to make the play where he is right now against Nick.
Yeah, he bends him back. It's 3-0 now. Well, Griffin, of course, you don't want to walk a batter, but it would set up the double play possibility by having a runner at first base. But the number 3 hitter is waiting in the wings, and he already has an RBI hit tonight. Walked him 4 straight pitches. So that's walk number 4 tonight. Second one this inning. Second one to Capra in the game. Here comes Gene. And Mike Griffin, who pitched brilliantly opening day in Denver, will be finished for the evening.
And the Royals have had the right-hander warming up now throughout pretty much the first third of this baseball game. And that puts a lot of pressure on your long relievers. Not so much at this point real early in the season, but you could end up throwing a whole game on the side. And that's a situation in the big leagues that Baltimore ran into last season, Torrey, with a guy like Tippy Martinez.
Well, I'm going to take that back, Terry. I thought when Gino went out to the mound, it looked like he pointed to his right wrist. I thought he pointed for the right-hander, and it's not going to happen. Griffin will stay in.
Not a popular decision with the fans.
Roger Simonson, 420 feet away in the wind. Welcome to the production crew, Roger. So he runners at the corners, and Kunkel is up. Whoosh, strike one. You can feel that one all the way up here. Kunkel 1 for 2, single to left, knocked in a run, and then scored a run. Cleanup hitter Dave Stock still on deck. Outfield straight away, medium depth. Infield, of course, a double play depth. There's one away, so the pitcher's friend would really be great to see right now.
Griffin has to get his pitches lower in that strike zone if he wants to really have the consistency for the ground ball.
Runner takes off from first, lifted high to center field. Well, Morris has a good arm. We'll see. There's the tag, and the throw comes in. It's cut off by Scranton, and the 5th 89er run has just crossed the plate as they hold Capra at first base. So you give Kunkel a sacrifice fly to center and an RBI. Score Tabor from third base. 2 outs now, but it's 5-2, and the cleanup hitter Dave Stockstill is up. Last time up, Stockstill had that weird check swing single that bounced over Griffin. Headed over the bag. Rondon Johnson got his glove on it, but he couldn't make a play to get a force out at second. So we'll see what Stockstill has in store this time around. Catcher Mercado is on deck. Pitches outside for a ball. Still have that force out at second base, but the run has come in. So the Royals Have to make up 3 runs now instead of 2. Throw again to first base.
Now, Torrey, Rondon Johnson's going to make a lot of plays like that count throughout this season. We've already seen what Jimmy Scranton can do at shortstop, and we saw it all last season.
Up the line and right, it is just fair. Runner around toward third, they're going to send him home. Kingery having trouble with the ball in the corner. Stockstill heads to third, he has an RBI triple. What a shot by Stockstill. That thing just made it inside the line in right field. Scoring Capra all the way from first. 6-2, Oklahoma City. Now Gino's coming out a second time, and this undoubtedly will be it for Griffin.
It's tough to defense that. And out there in right field, Kingery again was having some problems as it was rolling around, but not much you're going to do with that even if you get it. It goes deep into the corner down that right field line. No problem for the runner, and it ends up being that triple.
That's Stockstill's first 3-bagger of the season, and it's also his first run batted in. But Stockstill now with a couple of hits. As you get a look at the reliever coming in now, it's going to be Rini Martin, number 19. And while Rini takes his warm-up pitches, we want you to tune in again Saturday night as Sports 9 will be back out here at Rosenblatt Stadium. The Denver Zephyrs will be coming to town to do some battle against the Royals. Come on out to the park or watch Cox 9 for exciting AAA baseball. And add a little bit to that, we appreciate the fans who have supported us the last couple of years. This year we're excited because we get to do 15 live contests, but don't let that keep you from coming to the ballpark. I'll tell you what, it's an exciting season here at Rosenblatt in 1985. So Rini Martin, again, another no stranger to Omaha, as he's been here before in the Royals organization, of course. And he's trying to make his way back into the big leagues. And this is the best place to do it, one step away in AAA.
Donald Rini Martin, and he's known by the middle name. He pitched in 1979 here in Omaha in the association. He also pitched in 78, and he was a 19th rounder of the Kansas City Royals in the free agent draft in June of 77. And Rini Martin will often be remembered, Torrey, for the Atlee Hammaker trade to San Francisco that sent Vida Blue and Bob Tufts over to Kansas City. And Gene Lamont talked about that yesterday at the banquet when he introduced Rini Martin.
So Martin facing the catcher, Orlando Mercado. Righty against the righty. Griffin went 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 4 walks, struck out 1. All 6 runs are charged to him, plus the runner at third base in the person of Dave Stockstill. 1-0 count. Martin's pitch over for a strike. Just nipped that corner. 1-1 now. So a tough home opener for Mike Griffin. That one fouled right up this way. It goes underneath us. It's on the screen. And the ball boy with good hustle hauls it in. 1-2 the count to Mercado.
Now Griffin coming back, starting tonight. The Royals have played quite a few games in the opening series and then a home opener tonight.
Hit the opposite way. Is Kingery going to have a chance? Long run. It's fair. He makes the catch. Well, they called it foul, but it's still an out. Long run for Mike Kingery, but the Royals finally get the last out in the 4th. 89ers come up with 2 big runs on 1 hit, that triple by Stockstill. There were no Omaha errors, and the 89ers left a runner on. So after 3.5, it's Oklahoma City 6, Omaha 2.
Confidence comes with this uniform. And as a Marine, you earn that confidence by doing a tough job with skill and daring. That's something to be proud of. You develop it by working on a unique team that succeeds where others might fail. A team respected around the world. It's a confidence that comes from knowing nothing is impossible if you're prepared to do it. And Marines are ready for anything that comes their way. Find out. Maybe you can be one of us. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Royals trailing 6-2 as we see the wide shot from our center field camera. Let's get a look at Pat Putnam, who's scheduled to lead off for the Royals at the bottom of the 4th, and he'll be followed by Jamie Quirk with Mike Kingery to follow Quirk. Royals, Terry, need to get some offense quickly. They had a good inning in the 2nd inning, but boy, Mike Griffin just ran into some problems in the 3rd and 4th, and now the Royals down by 4, 6-2.
Well, the crowd here is able to see right away that the Omaha Royals have an exciting team defensively, and they did last year. But they saw that Mike Griffin ran into some problems in his outing tonight, and we'll see what kind of long relief pitching Rini Martin is capable of. Another player on this team that brings us a lot of major league experience.
Pat Putnam steps in from the left side, a native of Bethel, Vermont. Putnam has one of the Omaha hits as he lifts that one to the left side of the infield. Who's going to get it? Kunkel wants it. Circles, finally makes the grab. Well, if you're an 89er fan, it's kind of a hairy play. That's tough play for a shortstop, especially with that wind blowing, knocking that ball back and forth up there.
The no man's land out there, and Kunkel also had some problems with the lights here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Down the third base line, he was shielding those third base light towers down there. Then he had to almost turn a 360 to make the play.
Jamie Quirk, who singled his last time up, steps in from the left side. On deck, Mike Kingery, another left-handed hitter. Quirk is one of those 50-50 players. By that, there's a shot to the gap in right center field. That ball is back. It's out of here. Home run. Jamie Quirk with his first home run, his first run batted in for 1985. And the Royals now trail 6-3. He got all of that one, all of it.
Jose Guzman wants that pitch back. Not a good pitch to Jamie Quirk, the veteran. Right up in his eyes, right up into the wheelhouse of the left-handed batter. And he just lost that into the blackness of the night.
Kingery tries to bunt the opposite way, and it goes foul. Yeah, that got the fans going. What a shot.
And that pitch just flattened out on a beautiful geometric plane for Jamie Quirk.
Now Capra went back, but when he got to the warning track, that's when he realized he just ought to hold up the bye sign. Jammed him inside. 1-1 the count now. What a shot. Well, that thing was hit.
And McDowell was shading that way just slightly, playing the hitter to pull.
Kingery fouls that one. It'll go into the 89er dugout. Well, it bounces off the top step. Now the first home run of this ball game. We thought with the way the wind was blowing, we might see more than just one, and this only being the bottom of the 4th inning, it's still got a lot of time yet to see some 4-baggers. 1-2 delivery. took it a little bit off that pitch, and he missed inside. 2-2.
Tough place to hit that pitch too, Torrey, and there are some gusts, judging from the American flag, that favor a right-handed hitter at times tonight.
Goes the opposite way. Got around late on that one, and it'll go foul into the box seats down there on the third base line, and then Fan had a little trouble with it and then hauled it in. Mike Kingery out of Minnesota. First time in AAA ball. Count even at 2-2. Guzman's pitch. Fastball misses. 3-2 now.
Guzman pitching to where his defense is on that pitch, going inside. There's a lot of room in the left center field gap.
Hit towards second base. It's playable. Tabor has trouble with it, and he throws first base and gets Kingery by a step. 2 outs. Bill Pacoda. Pacoda had a sacrifice fly back in the third inning, and that scored Pat Putnam with the Royals' first run.
Third baseman, Bill Pacoda.
So the fireworks so far this inning, provided by Jamie Quirk. Hits that quick pitch. Looper into center. It's going to be in there for a base hit. Big wide turn at first. Tabor, probably the closest 89er to that ball, and he couldn't quite get to it as they held a meeting out short right center. So you have to give Pacoda a looping single to right center field, and he's on first base with 2 outs. Jimmy Scranton, who doubled home a run in the third inning, is up, or in the second inning. And he'll be batting from the left side.
I thought Tabor was going to make that play. He got there. Once again, Torrey, a left-handed batter and a runner on first.
There goes the runner. He's in there easily. The ball gets by, but there'll be no more advance. So Pacoda takes off on the very first pitch. And he has his first stolen base of the season. He's 1 for 2. So that puts the runner in scoring position now for Scranton out of Lake Elsinore, California. Jimmy, good-natured kid. I was teasing with him before the ball game. A lot of fun. Great to have the Royals back in town. Summer filled. 85 of baseball here in Omaha. 1-1 the count. The on-deck hitter is the leadoff hitter, Rhonda Johnson.
Oh, it is something else, Torrey. You can see the helmet glistening with the stadium lights.
Now something they won't experience at Wrigley Field this year.
No.
I suppose we could get on a soapbox about pros and cons on putting lights at Wrigley Field.
I'm afraid for nostalgic people, and there are a lot of them, that they're just going to end up in another park there eventually.
Line drive over second base. Base hit. Pacoda has the speed. The run is coming home. They let it come through, but it's not in time, and it's 6-4. Scranton with a nice piece of hitting. Just roped it over Tabor at second base. Pacoda on his horse. He scores the 4th Royal run.
Torrey, Scranton really worked the pitcher on that one. He really worked against the pattern that Jose was coming in there with. There was an inside pitch, then he went outside, and that time he was able to open up nicely and go in to right field, and it's tough for a right fielder to make a play from out there.
Well, taking a trip out to the mound for the 89ers is Rusty Gerhardt, coach. They're going to, of course, there's been no action in the bullpen, so Guzman will stay, and he's going to pitch to Ron Johnson.
Well, Dave Oliver has his troops sitting out there in the bullpen for Oklahoma City.
You know, it wasn't too long ago that being banished to the bullpen was a demotion. It was taken as that. But now, becoming a relief pitcher is really can be a goal of a pitcher. Usually spot starter or someone who's having trouble, injury, or an older pitcher who's continuing past his prime would be banished, they'd say, to the bullpen, but not so anymore. Johnson looping toward McDowell. This inning is over, but a good inning for the Royals. They come up with 2 runs. They did it on 3 hits, plus the home run by Jamie Quirk. There were no 89 errors. They left a runner on base, and there's your score at the end of 4. We're going to take this opportunity now to talk to a man who is in a new position for the Omaha Royals, but he's no stranger to marketing in any way. Mr. Roy Kaufman, who is the Director of Marketing for the Omaha Royals. Roy, I'll tell you, just by the indication of the attendance of that banquet on Tuesday, baseball again is alive and it's exciting in Omaha.
I think it is too, and you brought up one thing in the first part of the ball game here this evening. Gus Cherry and the Omaha Royals organization is extremely interested, and we are working very hard and letting the people know that this is an Omaha baseball team.
Well, you know,
we're very interested in people to understand, hey, this is your team. Come out and help us out.
Well, I think that's a big thing, and the fact that it is the Omaha Royals, and not so much the fact that this is minor league baseball, AAA, come out and watch good players.
Right.
Omaha is fortunate, I think. I know, I guess maybe I'm pointing fingers at people I don't know, but there's a lot of cities in the United States that would do anything for A ball, let alone AAA. And we've got these guys one step from the minors, a lot of former major leaguers. They're one step from the majors, and a lot of former major leaguers here tonight, and they're playing good ball.
Now, you have about 6 players here that are very much so. They're major league talent that are playing with us here in Omaha. You're also looking at a team that's averaging about 26 years of age. That's old for a AAA team.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some experience right here. We've got some good ball players. We've had, I guess you can call it a so-so start, if you will. I mean, I work for the organization, I'll say it. But I think as we go along through the season, this is going to be a tough team.
Well, you know, I'll tell you one thing. The crowd cheers as the Kansas City score goes up as they're ahead of the Red Sox, 3-0 at the end of 4. But exciting season, and I'll tell you what, Gus Cherry, definitely, it was said in the paper today, but it's so true, a gentleman. Heck of a guy.
He really is. And, well, here at the ballpark, I think he's made every corner of this ballpark, talking to the people in the media and talking to some of the fans and some of the gentlemen and people that are part of the Lancers organization. I might say one other thing about Gus and his involvement in the city. He has been, I guess, to all of the, and we're about to throw a pitch here, to the radio stations, the TV stations, the newspapers, and a lot of organizations here in the last 2 or 3 days like that. And he's that type of a gentleman.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish you luck in your position. I wish the Royals luck, and we at Cox Cable are real proud to be part of this in '85, Roy.
Good to have you. We're going to look forward to 14 more ball games,
You betcha. A lot of fun. Thanks a lot for joining us, Roy.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going into the top of the 5th inning, and Mike Rubel, who has had a heyday so far against the Omaha pitching staff, will be facing Rini Martin for the first time. And the 1-2 pitch misses. The count is even at 2-2. Rubel, 2 doubles, both up the left field line, and he has 2 runs batted in, and the Royals would be one step ahead if they can keep this guy from swinging a bat, Terry.
That'll help get that leadoff hitter. The last inning, they ended up with Tabor in the 9th place in the batting order, getting on by way of the walk, so that helps there.
Well, that's Martin's first strikeout of the game, on in relief of starter Mike Griffin. Steve Buechele is up now. Buechele looking for his first hit in 2 trips. He walked his first time up. Royals, though, getting the fans on their feet as they're trying to climb back into this game with 2 runs at the bottom of the 4th. It's 6-4 now.
Torrey, we were talking about relief pitchers and their role and their gain in publicity. And in the 70s, Gossage came up with the White Sox, and then he went to Pittsburgh and ended up as a big money player for the Yankees. And pretty soon, that late inning relief pitcher really became a heroic role. But now the long and middle relievers, that's becoming quite a position. And in the World Series last year, you could credit that to Hawkins and Dravecky with San Diego.
He got him on that breaking pitch, a little off speed too, so that brings the count to 1-2. And middle relievers used to really never be appreciated because people would look at their stats, and middle relievers don't build a lot of stats. You won't see a lot of one loss in that. Wrap the third, Pacoda back of the bag. Long throw across the diamond. Go coast to coast. 2 outs. That'll bring up Bob Brower. Brower 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch and they grounded back to the pitcher in successive innings.
Oh, you have to have a great arm from third base. You can't afford to waste too much time trying to get in front of a ground ball at third base because you have the long throw. At second base, you could go down on one knee because you don't have to throw it as far. But Pacoda showed what he could do on that throw.
Bunted straight up. Quirk has it. We're out of the inning. The 89ers go down 1-2-3. After 4.5 innings, it's 6-4. Oklahoma City over the Royals.
There are channels for music, channels for sports, channels for news, even channels for weather. But when it comes to classic movies, there's only one channel, American Movie Classics. Great stars, great stories, 50 great years of Hollywood. It's simple, it's sensational. When you're in the mood for classic movies, there's only one channel you'll need, American Movie Classics. Isn't it amazing no one did it before?
Here, have a drink.
Yeah, come on.
Hey, buddy! Hey, have a beer!
Some people think drinking is really the thing to do. It's not. Because if you start now, you're headed for big trouble later. If your idea of a good time is drinking, you've got a problem already. Think about it. Talk to somebody about it. Do something about it before it's too late.
A message of concern from the Omaha Medical Society.
Coming back for the bottom of the 4th inning as we get a look at the Omaha night skyline. 6 runs, 6 hits. A couple errors for the 89ers. And for the Royals, they have 4 runs on 6 hits also. No errors. And a Sunday afternoon is a perfect time for the family to get together, and there's nothing more exciting than baseball on a Sunday afternoon. Bring the family out to see the Royals do battle with Denver this Sunday. Game time is 2 o'clock. Tickets are available at the stadium. Reserve seating is $4. General admission $3. Kids under 6 receive a $1 discount on their tickets, so come on out and cheer on the Royals on Sunday. As Johnny Morris gets ready to step in against Guzman, wraps it to second base. Tabor has to charge the bounder. Throws to first. There's 1 away.
There's a perfect example of the type of throw that a second baseman could make. Executed by Tabor there. It's a sidearm throw. And the reason it's sidearm is because he doesn't have to take the time to turn and throw overhand. In many instances, the second baseman cannot do that.
Butch Davis steps up. Butch 1 for 2 on the night. He did ground out into a 6-4-3 double play as the 89ers have a left-hander working in their bullpen. Pitch outside for a ball. Two balls and no strikes. Davis, of course, a big hitter for the Royals all during his career, and he watches that one sail outside. 3-0, way ahead on the count now. The Royals would like nothing better than to get this runner on.
Hey, Torrey, I have to get me one of those Oklahoma City caps to go with that Boston cap you brought me last summer.
Walks him on 4 pitches. That's his second walk of the ball game. So Davis, with good speed, too, is on at first base. See if the cat and mouse game goes on. He hasn't stolen any bases yet this year. Yeah, the Oklahoma City cap, of course, this team is affiliated with the Texas Rangers. Dave Leeper now. Leap looking for his first hit. He came into this ball game batting .526. 10 hits and 19 at bats. Whew. So Guzman now at the stretch. Pitches outside the low. 1-0 the count. There's a throw to first base. If you happen to be watching this game live and there's nothing wrong with your television set, that crunching noise in the background is the Sports 9 crew enjoying Krusty's Extra Pizza.
This is good news for Gene Lamont, Torrey. In the first inning, he had a runner at first with the left-handed hitting Dave Leeper up, and he does it again here. And as we said before, there's a lot of room to pull the baseball through the hole on the right side of the infield because you have Tabor, the second baseman, cheating over, playing for the double play.
Two and 0 now. Davis again with that lead. Not as big as before. Here comes the pitch. Line of the gap, center field. McDowell speed will make it an out if he can get to it, and he does. Well, I'll tell you, when you have a center fielder like McDowell, he rests a little easier. Dave Oliver, I know, he just makes it look so easy. He gets over there. If the ball hangs up, chances are real good that if McDowell gets his glove on the ball, he'll catch it.
You have so many options with a center fielder like Oda B. McDowell. He could play the hitter to pull, and you could pretty much rest assured he's going to be able to handle someone trying to plug the gap to the left side, to his right.
Now let's see if he's going to go to first again. Now Putnam, 1 for 2, single, scored a run. That pitch is over for a strike. I just got a clarification. Yeah, I said the 89ers had 2 innings. Originally, that's 2 errors. Originally, that's what it was. But now they're going to credit Jimmy Scranton with a triple and an RBI instead of a double and an error on the right fielder. So Scranton will go from a double to a triple. The count now is 1-1 for Scranton on the year. That'll be his first triple. And the pitch outside. Guy like Pat Putnam, they have trouble with that name all night long. Alliteration is great for the soul. You have to be careful when you pitch to a guy like this because he's seen some of the best pitchers in baseball in recent times being up in the major leagues. So the runner takes off. The throw to get Davis won't even be close. It goes into center field. He'll go on to third base. So Davis should get credit with his first stolen base of the year, and he'll move to third on the air. So there you see him standing at third, just 90 feet away. They're going to charge Mercado with a throwing error.
Mercado had a tough pitch to handle, came up out of there with it. But again, a throw on the third base side of second base.
Well, I'll tell you what, Putnam now just pokes one in the right field. It's a 1-run ball game, fouled at the plate. Now a tip foul, but Mercado hung on for it. 3-2, the big one due now, 2 outs.
Hey, it's only the 5th inning. You have to remember that in a baseball game.
Yeah, you know, but you hate to waste that guy 90 feet away, and he worked hard to get there. Lifted straight up. Out at shortstop, Kunkel behind the bag on the outfield grass, and this inning is over. So the Royals get a runner to third base, but they can't get him in. They didn't score. There were no hits, 1 error, and a runner left on base. After 5 full innings, it's still Oklahoma City 6 and the Omaha Royals 4. I want to remind everybody that this is the opening home series of 1985. The 89ers will be here Thursday and Friday. Then Denver comes in for a 4-game series, the 20th through the 23rd. They have the 24th off, which is probably a welcome break even this early in the season. And then Iowa comes in the final weekend of April, the 25th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then the Royals hit the road for a road trip against Oklahoma City and Iowa. Come on out to the ballpark. Wow, some good baseball out here. I think baseball season, more so than in the past this year, baseball is really welcome. I'm not sure the reason why. Maybe it's because of the onslaught of the winter sports that we went through, as you get a good look at Mad Mike smiling. One of the few times you see him smile. Usually his mouth is wide open and he's speaking at about 117 decibels.
Torrey, there's so much going on in baseball this season, and locally, Mr. Cherry, the new owner, an historic night here at Rosenblatt Stadium. First year he's owned the ball club, and then you go on to the major league level, and how about that American League East? And what a great division. Suter going with Atlanta, Henderson going with the Yankees. There's just a lot going on. You have that Lamar Hoyt trade. He's out with San Diego. Can the White Sox prove that that was a good deal at the winter meetings? How's this Guillen going to work out for the White Sox? How's Dunston going to go? There's just so much going on. And the thing that's neat, and we want the fans to remember, is there's so many players that came through this ballpark last season, and you can see them in the major leagues now. This is AAA baseball, the top level of the minors, just below the major league classification.
You know, I think baseball pretty much at the major league level now has run that full cycle. You're going to see a lot of players on the move in the next year or two, more so than when free agency, I guess, really peaked. End of the 70s, 80, 81. A lot of ball players on the move. Nick Capra leading it off against Reedy Martin here in the top of the 6th inning. Beautiful night for baseball. That one high and inside. He falls behind him 2-0 now.
Speaking of salaries, what do you think of this Ozzie Smith deal? The signing of Ozzie Smith, and I guess a lot of the other owners in the board of governors of the major leagues are just up in arms about the salary he's getting for not being that great of a hitter. He's unquestionably an outstanding shortstop for the Cardinals.
Well, you know, you could argue, I guess you argue that so much. People say ball players shouldn't be getting that much. Others will say the owners are agreeing to pay them. And it's just an argument I think that's going to go on forever. I don't see players' salaries getting any lower. I just don't. So once it starts, it continues to escalate, which is where we have it.
Wait till Robin Yount, Alan Trammell, and Cal Ripken Jr. come up for new contracts in the future after that deal today. Just like signing Bobby Orr in hockey in the 60s. That was good news for the players in the NHL.
Well, he walks him on a 3-1 pitch. So for Martin, that is his first walk given up the game. Tabor is walked twice. Stole his last time, and then he came around to score on a sacrifice fly by Kunkel, so we'll have to watch him at first base. Oda McDowell is on, so left-handed hitter. They hold the runner, the big hole down there. And Odaby with good speed himself. He'll come to the plate. Off-speed pitch. Did he go around? They appeal? No. Safe. Ball one. Third base umpire Larry Young gave the safe signal. Fans didn't like that one. Neither did Tom Baker. He didn't like that call either.
Tom can argue balls and strikes, and the players and coaches cannot.
Steps off the rubber. Still have left-handed action in the 89er bullpen. There you got to look at Tabor down at first base.
Tough situation here for the Royals defensively. Pacoda in on the grass, but Johnson's in a tough spot out there at second, and Odaby is showing his ability with that push bunt for the infield hit.
Odaby McDowell. Tabor 3 for 3 in stolen bases this year. As we said, he stole a base last time. Here he goes again. Low and outside, and Quirk won't even be able to make a throw. So Tabor gets second base, standing up. And he's 4 for 4 in the SB department. Again, a tough pitch for a catcher to handle. 2 balls and no strikes is the count to Odaby McDowell. to be a real popular player, an excitement getter, and really fun to watch. But tough when he's on the opponent's ball club. Again, pitch basically in the same place, so Martin tried to stay away from allowing Odeby to pull the ball. Goes 3-0 on him now.
Oh, he had some great years with the Sun Devils, and Dave Leeper for Omaha was an All-American at University of Southern California. They know how to play college baseball out there, I guess.
Pacoda up on the infield grass at third. That pitch, he walked him on 4 pitches. Sandwiched around, throws to first base. So Martin has just walked his second batter in a row, and that's his second walk of the game. So that will bring up Capra now. Nick Capra also has walked twice this game, and he's scored both times. So things all of a sudden getting a little hairy with no outs. Of course, they've got to force at either of the 3 bases. Man, they got some Hot Wheels on the bags, though. Tabor and McDowell.
Greeny really needs that double play because we're only in the middle part of this baseball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, they tried to shift, and he lined a base hit on the left. The runners took off. Come to second base. Can they make the play? Johnson didn't see him coming. Hustle double for Capra. Strange play of events. The runners took off. The defense made the shift, so Pacoda, or I should say Rhonda Johnson, got the relay in the infield. He could have had a swipe at Capra, who was hustling into second base. So that scores the 89ers' 7th run and puts McDowell at third base.
Johnson out there in a tough position, nowhere near the bag. And he caught the ball. He could have been able to make that tag.
Check swing again. Well, they'll look the runners back. They'll go to first base. They got Kunkel 1-3. But Capra with that hustle RBI double, and it's now 7-4.
El Torre, Capra had the Royals putting a play on in that situation, and you work on a play like that, but then he just slaps it out into left field. And last week, the Royals spent a lot of time in this ballpark when they came north working on the plays they want to put on in the bunt-type situation.
Well, now they're going to put on Stockstill. Runners at second and third. They want to set up that force play anywhere. And Mercado is due up. Orlando Mercado, the catcher.
And he moves on to the on-deck circle. Now, that doesn't mean that Oliver is going to send in the bat. You have to make that decoy out of the dugout.
Well, it would appear he is going to bat for himself. So the bases once again full of 89ers. Now, this is the third time this ball game, this situation has occurred. And the Royals have a right-hander working down in their bullpen. I believe that's Al Hargersheimer, who's coming off an injury. Talked to Al. Al and I have some common ground in the fact that we both know former teammate of his, Alan Ripley, who came up with the Boston Red Sox, did time with the Cubs and the Giants. Martin's pitch, nice play by Quirk. Man, that's dangerous. You see Martin, the look on Martin's face. He let that pitch go, and he knew that wasn't going where he wanted it to.
And if he wants to throw the breaking pitch, Quirk able to make that play. He showed it there. The base is jammed.
1 ball, no strikes. Never force out anywhere. Mercado the batter. McDowell at third. Checks his swing. 2-0. McDowell out at third base. Capra had that RBI double. Is at second, and Stockstill was intentionally walked. He's down at first. Big swing and a miss. Strike 2.
Comes in with that fastball. And that's a pitch that you would think that Mercado was looking for. He just threw it right by him, Tori. That gets back to that pitching backward concept. Martin has to decide now on this count, what is Mercado expecting? And I'm going to throw something different.
Wrap the shortstop. Scranton to Johnson, over to first base, down! Double play! 6-4-3, nice move out at second base. 89ers load the bases, but they come up with 1 run on 1 hit. There were no Omaha errors. They left 2 runners on. After 5.5, it's Oklahoma City 7 and the Omaha Royals 4.
Look, the Statue of Liberty. I don't feel so good. Where does it hurt? All over. I need lots of fixing. That's going to be expensive. If we ask people to help, they will. Everyone loves me. To help, send your contributions to The Lady, Box 1986, New York, or call 1-800-THE-LADY. It would make me feel a lot better. Keep the torch lit! I love her. Big cheese and it's food for you.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, good for you, good for you. We're what's good for you. What we're about is what you should eat. The 4 food group we just can't be beat. So wherever you go, whatever you do, good for you, good for you. We're what's good for you. Good for you, good for you, good for you, good for you, good for you.
Well, I'll tell you now, things got to start shaping up. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll put us 2/3 of the way through this ball game. 89ers, though, coming up with a run. Even so, the Royals brought the fans to their feet again with an inning double play with the bases loaded, and now maybe they can get something started again here in the bottom of the 6th.
Dr. Double Play visits Renee Martin. What a play by Jimmy Scranton. Tori, he had Capra cutting right in front of him when he fielded pretty much a slow roller towards the shortstop position, and he flipped it to Rondon, and what a pivot. That really saved the Royals there. Now we're going to see a new pitcher for the 89ers. It's Bill Early. He doesn't have a decision, and we'll check the stats on Early. This will be his first appearance, Tori, so no record at all.
Well, Guzman, Jose Guzman has a chance to win his first game of the season. He cannot lose it. And the left-hander pitching to Jamie Quirk gets it over for a strike, whereas for Mike Griffin, it's the other way around. He can lose this, but he can't win it. Big left-hander. Has that hesitation delivery, Terry. It's really deceiving. He got Quirk on that one. 0-2 the count now to Jamie. Wind continuing to blow. That American flag hasn't done anything but be out straight since the entire start of this whole ball game. Outfield straight away and deep. A hesitation pitch misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think you have enough to worry about out there as a batter, but then you have the pitcher trying to hide the baseball as long as possible and then making a lot of other moves, bringing the glove hand around, waving it.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a big breaking ball. So Early comes in and first batter he faces gets him down on strikes. That'll bring up Mike Kingery. Mike is flied to center and grounded to second base. Youngster up from Memphis. He'll be followed by Bill Pacoda. Again, that hesitation delivery. Man, I'll tell you, you have to have everything mechanically right, I think, to throw a baseball like that.
Well, let's see, Guzman gives up 4 runs and 3 of those were earned.
That should be in there for a base hit. It's in the gap, right center field. Kingery has good speed. Right fielder over Capper would have made a nice play. Slips, and here comes Kinger. He's not even thinking of stopping until he gets to third. What a hustle hit by Kingery. Capper over, tried to cut it off, stepped on the ball. Then he slipped when he tried to relay it in.
Boy, Capper ran into a tough situation out there. He ended up almost throwing it. Let's see what he does out here. See if he throws this back to the infield and see if he's on the ground when he does it. No, he got up, but he's in a tough position to make that play. McDowell got away from him. Possibly could have flipped it to O to B, but McDowell had to go in and back him up.
Well, Kingery is going to be credited with his first three-bagger of the season. So the Royals have a runner 90 feet away from scoring, and Bill Pacoda is up at third base. Pacoda, 1 for 1 as an RBI sacrifice fly, stolen a base, and scored a run. Swing and a miss. Here comes the run to the plate. Kingery will score standing up. Pitch got away from Mercado. So now it's 7-5.
That's a gift with one out. Get that runner in from third.
Well, it would appear to me that would be charged to the pass ball. So Pacoda with a 1-1 count. Pitch inside low once again.
Early comes right back in with the breaking pitch after the pass ball.
Things really getting exciting here at Rosenblatt Stadium. That one paints the outside, evens the count at 2-2.
Boy, he cut that one. Left-handed hurler to the outside part of the plate against a right-handed batter.
Well, now we're full up.
You know who throws like early? Chris Welsh from Indianapolis last season. Cocked that ball back behind his ear. Good for the breaking stuff.
Capper on the run, and he makes the catch on this one, and we have 2 away. So it's up to Jimmy Scranton to keep the rally going for the Royals. They want to continue to crawl back in this thing and stay close. They had a 2-run lead after 2 innings, and then found themselves down 4-2, then 6-2. Scored 2 runs at the bottom of the 4th to make it 6-4. The 89ers scored a run in the top half of this inning. Now the Royals have countered with a run. So it's 7-5, 2 outs. Scranton batting right-handed for the first time tonight against the left-handed early.
Wish we could have had a runner on base with Scranton up because he's had a fine evening here at Rosenblatt.
Early, look at Early shake off the signs from Mercado. Now he decides this is the pitch he wants to throw. Comes inside of the dirt. Mercado having problems.
Mercado's going to get a workout with this guy and his breaking stuff. Troy, what do you think of that catcher calling the game or the pitcher calling his own game?
Well, yeah, I think obviously the communications has to be there, and the catcher, as that one's wrapped toward right side, Kunkel should be able to make the play on Scranton, and he does. And the inning is over as he grounds out 4-3. They come up with a run on 1 hit. There were no errors, although there was a pass ball allowing Kingery to score after he tripled. No runners left after 6 complete. It's 7-5, the 89ers over Omaha. What you were talking about, though, a lot of pressure, I think, put on a catcher, especially a youngster, and the fact of calling the game. And I think it's an advantage, though, for a ball club, mainly because a lot of teams, that's just the way it's been. A catcher calls the game, and the pitcher obviously has the authority to shake him off, and if the pitcher thinks he's going to be able to throw the pitch that the catcher calls, again, that's where you need that communication.
Earl Weaver likes his pitchers to call their own game. He figures they're the pitcher. They know what they're going to do. They know what they want their defense to do. Promotion time here at Rosenblatt Stadium, huh, Torrey?
Well, now John Flores, the home plate umpire, talking to one of the stadium's staff members. You can see, you might have got a shot of that bullseye earlier. as Renee Martin continues to throw. The Dixieland band decides to kick up as we're moving into the top of the 7th inning, and the Royals are trailing 7-5, although they have out-hit Oklahoma City 8-7. 89ers have committed 2 errors, and the Royals none.
The Dixieland band with those lights, Council Bluffs Blues.
Sha-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Good time out of Rosenblatt. I'll tell you, you people that are watching this game on television, you're missing a lot of excitement in the stands tonight. Just being here, you know. I guess I'm going to steal a line from a major league club promotion, but being there is twice the fun. And I'll tell you, it's great to be out of the ballpark. Now, we know in the Midwest the weather might not stay like this all during the spring, but it's supposed to hold at least until the weekend, so you've got tonight, tomorrow, and possibly Friday for sure. Come on out to the ballpark. Night baseball in the spring. Omaha Royals, new owner Gus Cherry. All kinds of excitement. Well, we're ready to go here as we move into the top of the 7th inning. First pitch by Martin to Mike Rubel, who has been a terror tonight. Couple of doubles, 2 RBIs, although he did strike out his last time up. Works the count to 1-1. This guy can really hit the ball.
Royals play him straight away in the outfield, and Martin on his first 2 pitches works the outside portion of the plate.
Rubel digs in and the pitch. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The tradition continues. The boos on the foul ball. Wonder who the ball boy is this year.
Somebody say Jim Carmichael? Nah, he couldn't qualify. 2 balls and 2 strikes as Jamie Quirk does a good job to keep that ball from getting past him. No problem with no runners on base. We hope Jim is watching. Good-naturedly teasing Jim Carmichael. There's a line drive base hit right over second base. Well, that's your classic rope. Bingle, right over the bag.
I'll tell you, he sure caught up with Renee Martin's pitching pattern there on the breaking stuff after getting behind in the count.
Well, Rubel having a good night. 3 for 4. Down at first base, now it's Steve Bushell, who's hitless in 2 trips. He did walk his first time up. They'll have to hold the runner. Well, the 89ers have had some runners tonight, that's for sure. Foul back. They've left, let's see, 4, 5, 7, and they've scored 7. 14, and that single by Rubel makes 15 runners tonight.
Gee, John Morris out in center field. It's 420 feet to the fence out there from home plate. With his speed and ability in center field, he really plays it fairly shallow, Torrey. And the reason he's able to do that is he could get back on something hit over his head. He's proven that in this game.
Well, I think in recent baseball, still, even today, even with some of the speed demons that have roamed center field as they go to first base, Paul Blair is still used as a measure. Oh, he played some center field when he was with Baltimore.
And he could have been a great hitter, but he ended up getting beamed in a game during his career, and that pretty much did him in at the plate. But what a defensive outfielder.
0-1 pitch, high and inside. 1-1 the count now. Ready to follow Bushell is Bob Brower and Greg Tabor to follow him. Well, the 89ers, after falling behind 2-0 in the second inning, have been able to maintain at least a 2-run lead most of the way. From the belt. Ooh, hit him. He couldn't get out of the way. It's like he was handcuffed. He stepped into the pitch, and he just couldn't get out of it. Obviously unintentional hit, so Buechele is on. That's the second hit batsman we've had today. The guy that's up now, Bob Brower, was hit by a Mike Griffin pitch in the second inning. So 89ers at first and second base. There's no outs in the top of the seventh inning. 89ers lead at 7-5. Al Hargersheimer continuing to throw down to the Royals bullpen.
In another critical situation, the Royals cut this thing to 2, and now they're in trouble again. Infield has to come in.
There they look for the bunt. They charge and throw down to second base. Not in time. They tried the same play in reverse in that inning where the 89ers scored a couple of runs. Jimmy Scranton decoyed at the bag at second and then headed toward third on a couple innings before. Putnam and Pacoda from the corners. He squares around to bunt. 2-0 the count.
You practice those plays in spring training, and the Royals have a number of different bunt plays involving the first and third baseman, and then that'll bring Jim Scranton into the action. He might have to cover third base, and of course Rondon Johnson will have to go to first in this situation to cover.
Here's the bunt right up the line. They're going to let it roll, and it's still on the line, and then it goes foul. Nice play by Rennie Martin. That's all he could do. So Brower doing a good job. It's just that the ball ran out of room.
Torrey, on that particular defensive play, the Royals looked for a double play. Scranton goes to second base. Johnson, the second baseman, covers first as Putnam rushes in, and they give up third base as Pacoda comes in from his position, and they're looking for a play at second and first.
Brower steps back in with a 2-1 count.
It's quite a game, isn't it?
Only baseball, only in baseball will you see this kind of stuff. Now the corners again. Now they work it the other way. Johnson comes over and scooting back to second base, giving Mike Rubel all kinds of work out there.
That's their other play involving a pickoff.
Well, that's the one that they worked earlier, but gave up a line drive base hit on that one.
You get that base runner thinking, well, that base runner at second, in this case Rubel, thinking, well, Scranton's going to third, the third baseman's going in, first baseman's coming in. Rondon Johnson will go to first, but nope, that doesn't happen.
Martin misses. Low and away. 3 balls and a strike now to count to Brower. Runners at first and second. Full count now. Will they send the runners? Swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, after all of that, they get Brower on strikes. That's the second strikeout for Martin tonight. That'll bring up Greg Tabor, the number 9 hitter. For a guy who hasn't got a hit yet in 3 at-bats, he's been busy. Walked twice, has 2 stolen bases, and he scored both times. One away. Now's the time for the ground ball. Leadoff hitter Oda B. McDowell is on deck. Outside and low. You don't want to see McDowell get up in a crucial situation like this. He's due for a real big hit. He had a bunt single back in the 3rd inning. He walked in the 6th. Flied out twice. First, they got to get around Tabor. Martin for the belt. That's over for a strike. Nice pitch.
He's had some good stuff in this relief appearance. And he's playing in a pitcher's park, and he knows it. He's been here. He's been in Kansas City, another classic pitcher's park. And with third base unoccupied with 1 out, he could afford to get the baseball in play because this park will hold it. Watch the wind, though, tonight.
Took a little bit off that one, too, and Counting to foul it off. He was way out in front of it. Ball and 2 strikes, 1 out. Mike Rubel at second base. Steve Buechele at first. We're in the top of the 7th inning, and the 89ers lead Omaha 7-5 in this. Omaha's home opener for 1985.
Has the big advantage here. Let's see if he throws a breaking pitch outside the great Tabor.
Came inside. He fouls it down the left field line. It'll be out of play into the seats. It's in that little alleyway between the grandstands and the left field bleachers.
There's so much to this game, so much outside of the actual game information that is passed around. And manager Gene Lamont and his coaching staff, they have to go over and give as much information to all their players concerning pitchers and batters. That's the job of that pitching coach, especially when a hurdler's on the mound.
Gets by everybody, and they'll move. The runners will move up. I would believe that's going to be a wild pitch, because that bounced way in front of Quirk. Not sure what the official ruling is, but I would imagine that's a wild pitch.
Well, that'll change things now, as Rubel on third base with 1 out can score on a sacrifice fly.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Martin getting charged with a wild pitch.
And forget the double play and bring the infield in.
Really puts a different complexion on this now. Line shot. Leaper. Lets it drop in front of him. I think he tried to decoy the runners on that one. But the run comes across, and now it's 8-5. So give Tabor a line drive base hit in the left field. And for him, that's his 2nd run batted into the season. Scores Mike Rubel from third base. Buechele moves over to third. So runners at the corners now with 1 out. Odabe McDowell.
You said it, Torrey, the decoy, little part of this game. Leaper figured he couldn't get to that, couldn't take the chance, and so he acted like he was going to make the play. You've seen guys pound their gloves out there even in that situation.
Well, Terry, just been handed a very important slip of paper here. It has tonight's home opener attendance mark on it. We'll wait till Odabe gets this pitch. 1-0 count. Martin steps off the rubber. Looks the runner back at first. 5,342 people tonight on opening night. I'd like to keep that up all season long. Maybe add 2,000-3,000 people to it.
Hopefully this ball club will keep going, get in a pennant race this season. And this season all around for baseball should be exciting and really generate a lot of interest.
Well, again, Martin off the mound, off the rubber. Now he's going to call Jamie out. Out a pair that probably having some problems with their signals out there. Al Hargesheimer continuing to throw down in that bullpen. Situation is this. We have Steve Buechele at third, Greg Tabor at first, who just singled in Mike Rubel with the 89ers' 8th run. 1 out, top of the 7th inning, and leadoff hitter Odabe McDowell's at the plate with a 1-0 count.
Oh, you had that runner on third base, and Quirk and Martin want to know what they're going to do with the runner on first, with the possibility of a steal.
Well, Tabor's done it twice. In the hole, they held the runner, and it cost them, and now it's 9-5. Tabor, Hot Wheels, round second. Cut off in the infield by Jimmy Scranton. Looks McDowell back to first. But the 89ers have picked up their 9th run, and they still have runners at the corners with 1 out. Tabor with good speed moving from first to third. McDowell picks up an RBI, his 2nd of the year, as he singles through that hole at first. And Gene Lamont is coming out.
Oh, there you have it, Torrey. McDowell, the left-handed batter, able to pull that pitch through the hole, in the right field. No problem for Tabor going to third. And, of course, the runner scoring from third with no problems. McDowell doing a good job with Oklahoma City in this early show.
Okay, Al Hargesheimer's coming in, and while he takes his warm-up pitches, we at Sports 9 are going to take this quick timeout.
That's right. At Krusty's Pizza, if you buy an extra pizza, you get another one free. With 15 toppings to choose from, Krusty's Pizza is a great taste treat. Krusty's also has submarine sandwiches and salads. There's 2 convenient locations at 40th and Dodge and 120th and Center, not to mention the free delivery service. So next time you're hungry for pizza, call Krusty's and say, extra, extra.
Are you interested in learning more about the game of golf? If so, the Iowa Golf Show is for you. I'm golf professional J.D. Turner, inviting you to join me every week on Cox Cable. I'll give you in-depth instruction on all the various elements of golf to help you improve your game. And we'll interview a number of local golf professionals and experts. Let's give you golf tips and features. So watch the Iowa Golf Show every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Cox Cable, Channel 9.
There's a score in the top of the 7th as Al Hargesheimer finishes his warm-up pitches in relief of Rennie Martin. Martin went 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 4 hits. He walked 3, 1 intentional, struck out 2 batters. So far, he's given up 3 runs, and the runners on base, McDowell down at first and Tabor at third, are his responsibility. So it'll be up to righty Al Hargesheimer to kind of shut the door.
Al is 1-0, has not given up an earned run. He's appeared in 2 games. Both of those in relief, 4 innings pitched. He has given up 2 hits, no earned runs, no home runs, 3 walks. He's had 5 strikeouts, and Al has had 1 wild pitch. Torrey, it's real important, this outing for Al Hargesheimer after last season.
Yeah, he's fighting back from that injury. McDowell takes off, and they hit it right where Scranton left. Beautiful piece of execution up at the plate. Oh, Capra. They sent the runner. McDowell took off at first base, and Scranton headed toward the bag, and Capra hit a ground ball base hit right where Scranton left. Matter of fact, put it right between his cleat marks in the dirt at shortstop. So Tabor scores with Oklahoma City's 10th run. McDowell goes to third, and Capra has his 2nd RBI of the night. He's 2 for 3. That's his 2nd RBI of the season, too. And that'll bring up Jeff Kunkel. That run charged to Rennie Martin. Handle one. Nice play by Rondon Johnson, 2nd for 1. And they get the force play. The run will score, make it 11-5. As Scranton was taken out at 2nd on a nice slide by Nick Capra, but man alive, I'll tell you, Rondon Johnson saved another base hit right there.
How about that tandem out there, Scranton and Johnson? Rondon able to dive for that one, took a good first step. He's a fine second baseman, fine leadoff hitter for Omaha. Now the run scored, Torrey, but at least we have 2 outs and the infield's able to drop back.
So now the cleanup hitter, Dave Stockstill, is up. 11-5. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The 89ers have scored 4 times. All the runs scored this inning going to be charged right now to Rennie Martin. Down to first base, Putnam will make the play by himself. Mercifully, this 7th inning is over. But the 89ers struck for 4 runs. They did it on 4 hits. There were no Omaha errors. And the 89ers left the runner aboard. So at the end of 6.5, it is now 11-5, Oklahoma City over the Royals. You know, you're looking for some fun, excitement, and an inexpensive entertainment for the family. Well, don't pay $4 a person for the movies for the family. And come out to the ballpark and join in the excitement of the Omaha Royals. General admission tickets, they're only $3. Reserved are $4. Royals baseball, of course, is a great dollar entertainment value, not to mention good fun for the whole family. So if you've never been out to see the Royals play, 1985 is the time to do it. So take time and come on out to Rosenblatt Stadium for the best in AAA professional baseball. You know, the Royals will be playing at home every day from now until the 30th, except for Wednesday, the 24th. So go for the action and support the Royals.
Well, that 7th inning tradition here at Rosenblatt Stadium, the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Well, we'd like to see Al Hargesheimer do well, Torrey. He had problems with his arm last season. We'd like to see him come in relief and start pitching well and get himself into the good groove in the middle innings. And Kansas City was having some problems with middle inning relief. That was according to Dick Hauser, and he used that, Torrey, as one of the reasons he felt he had to send Dave Leeper down here after spring training.
Yeah, Leeper not missing the big club by much. Actually, it was just a administrative decision, I guess you'd call it. They wanted to keep one extra pitcher. But Leeper will get a chance to play every day down here, and the way he's been swinging the bat coming into this game won't be long before he'll be out of here and possibly in Kansas City. Early's pitch. It'll be interesting to see how Early will react after a long rest. It's not cold, but the wind blowing. We'll see if it has an adverse effect on the left-hander. Rondon Johnson fouls this one back. Rondon batting from the right side. He, too, switch hitter. This is his first time batting from the right side tonight. RJ, as we said earlier, hails from Seattle, Washington. 1-0 pitch. Now we'll make it 2-1 now. 2 balls and a strike to Rondon Johnson. The Royals really going to have to come up with a couple of big innings. Got it on the outside corner for a strike.
Remember that big inning last season against Indianapolis? Let's see. Hammond, Brewer, and Mark Ryle, I believe, homered in the same inning off of Indianapolis pitcher. Can't think of his name. He really was shaken up, and I'll never forget the remark you made, Torrey, talking about pitchers losing their rhythm. You said, well, whoever this pitcher was, you go, look at, he's out there, he's throwing his cap around, he's stomping off the mound. It's only the 4th inning.
That one fouled off the right side. It'll go into the bleachers.
And that's a situation you run into. And you talk about that a lot. I know you mentioned that. How's that big inning going to affect that pitcher who's sitting on the bench in there, and he's getting the big lead?
Of course, early on in relief of starter Jose Guzman. Now he has a full count to Rondon Johnson. Well, he likes that sign from catcher Mercado. Here comes the pitch, and it's looped towards center field. Will Odabe get to it? Nobody's going to get to this one. Tabor diving, not being able to come up with the catch, so the leadoff hitter for the Royals in the 7th is on. Rondon Johnson with a nice looping single. Short center field, that'll bring up Johnny Morris.
That could be the second most important play, certainly one of the toughest to handle for the shortstop and the second baseman. In this case, it's Greg Tabor having to turn his back on home plate, go at full speed out there, try and get himself into position.
So Early will be looking, one of the advantage of for a left-handed pitcher is looking the runner at first, straight in the eye. Morris, the batter, takes a ball low and away. Morris out of North Belmore, New York. Played college ball at Seton Hall. And I know people in Nebraska saying, where? But Seton Hall is a well-known university back in the East Coast, an ECAC conference. Right up the middle, Tabor, though he has it. Slow relay to second. The relay to first pulls first baseman off the bag. Rubel not happy with that. Kunkel kind of He got to the bag, but Tabor's relay to Kunkel at the bag at second. It's like slow motion, and I think that helped him make for the play. So Johnson is out, 4-6 on the force play. Morris is on the fielder's choice. Butch Davis is up.
You know, Torrey, Kunkel, in that play, as you said, that's not the toughest pivot to make for that shortstop. He's coming that direction, and he still wasn't able to make the play.
Line drive base hit in the right field. Capra gets it cleanly this time. Nick's had a couple of problems out there in right field on some gappers. But the Royals now have runners at first and second. Butch Davis not wasting any time and lining that first pitch in the right field. Well, Dave Leeper, he's due. 0 for 3. Had a fielder's choice, grounded the pitcher, and flew to center field. Came into this game, as we mentioned, 10 for 19.
Middle part of this game, the Royals were stinging the ball pretty well. But unfortunately, they were well-hit baseballs being handled by Oda B. McDowell out in center.
Well, that flag in center field blowing straight away. It's Early stepping off the rubber now. Morris at second. Davis at first. Pop straight up. Rubel, Tabor. Rubel, Tabor on the outfield grass. So Leeper pops out to second base. And that'll bring up Pat Putnam. Pat is 1 for 3 as a single. His first time up, he scored a run, Royals' first run in the second inning. Outfielder setting up straight away. McDowell now starts to shift toward right field. Left fielder Brower at medium depth, but McDowell and Capra deep, center and right. Lefty to lefty, goes the opposite way past third base. That'll score Morris easily. Brower over to the line, and they're going to hold Davis up at third base as Putnam has an opposite field double and another RBI. He has 5 on the year now, 5 RBIs. Nice piece of hitting by Pat Putnam, going the opposite way.
Oh, he really went with that pitch, didn't he, Torrey? And you expect a batter like that to pull the ball, and he really fooled Bill Early, and he fooled Steve Buechele down there at third, who was cheating over towards the hole against the left-handed batter.
Well, Jamie Quirk steps up now. Jamie 2 for 3, has a single, towering shot, home run to right center field, and he's gone down on strikes. Another lefty versus lefty, chops that one this opposite way up on the roof. No balls and a strike. 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Royals have runners at second and third and 1 run in. Davis at third. That pitch low and away.
Early's going to be careful not to hang a breaking pitch up in the eyes of this hitter.
1-1 count. Early's delivery. Big swing and a miss.
That was a nice pitch on him, though. Inside. Threw off his timing.
Well, now the guessing game begins. You talk about the pitching in reverse theory, which really isn't a theory. It's a fact because it does happen.
You know, the batter has that plate divided up looking for a zone in this situation.
Wraps slowly to shortstop. Long play for Kunkel. No play for Kunkel. Run scores. 11-7. Everybody's safe.
I wasn't expecting that when that ball first left the pad of Jamie Quirk.
So with 2 outs, infield single. Kunkel wasn't going to be able to make a play. As a matter of fact, Buechele hesitated, wasn't sure whether he should cut across and make the play. And I believe the Kunkel called them off, and it cost them as the Royals get their 7th run. They have runners at the corners, and that'll bring up Mike Kingery. Kingery looking for his first hit tonight. Foul tip.
Boy, Quirk did everything he could. Once he committed to offering at that pitch, he put it in play. It wasn't pretty. He got an RBI out of it.
I'll have to take that back. Kingery had a big triple back in the 6th inning. So he's 1 for 3. He scored on a pass ball. Big situation. Royals at the corners. Quirk at first. Putnam at third. Early's delivery to left-handed Kingery is outside. Evens the count at 1-1. Natives are restless. Same place, 2-1. Billy Pacoda anxiously on deck.
He might come back in there again with that same pitch. Behind in the count.
Left-handed action for the 89ers in the bullpen. Well, tension continuing in the mound. Kingery in a pretty tight spot for a first-year AAA player. Fastballs over for a strike. Fills it up now, 3-2. 2 outs. Another classic confrontation situation.
Mike looking for a breaking pitch there. He saw the fastball. So he was hitting backward in that situation, and Early won that battle.
3-2 pitch hit to the right side. Rubel up with it. He's going to make the play himself, and he beats Kingery to the bag. Royals, though, come up with a couple of runs. They did it on 3 hits. There were no errors, and they left 2. So after 7 complete now, it's 11-7 Oklahoma City. You know, it's the dream of every Omaha Royals player to be called up to the Kansas City Royals. On May 9th, you can come out to Rosenblatt and see the Omaha players try to show their stuff to the Kansas City coaches as the KC Royals come into town for an exhibition game against their stars of tomorrow. You'll see some really great baseball from some really great players. Longtime Omaha fans will really enjoy this. They'll see players that had their start right here in Omaha and are now stars in the major leagues. You don't want to miss this ball game, so get your tickets in advance. Remember, that's May 9th for the Omaha Royals against the Kansas City Royals. Sports 9 will be here, but you're not going to be able to sit at home and watch it live because we're going to do a tape delay. So we want you to come out to the ballpark and watch that ball game. Willie Wilson, George Brett, the King, Quisenberry. Let's go down. Just keep going down the list.
Brett was the real leader of this franchise in Omaha. He's the big name player, and of course you had Willie Wilson in there in the late 70s, Torrey, and you get to see him up here. And last year, that was something else. And Brett was hurt. He just took batting practice up here that day.
Matter of fact, it was the first serious swings he'd had in the 84 season was right here in Rosenblatt. Of course, some more recently recognizable names, Pat Sheridan and Darryl Motley.
Buddy Biancalana.
Boy, he made a good play against the Red Sox yesterday, and the Royals, last we knew, they were beating Boston 3-0 after 4 down there at the Harry S. Truman Complex.
How about Danny Jackson's outing last night, shutting out the powerful boys from Beantown?
Danny Jackson, yeah, really 3-hitter. Pitched really well. The catcher, Orlando Mercado, the only batter not to get a chance to hit last inning. Check swing. It's fair ball. They're going to have to make a play. Hargesheimer, well, plenty of time on that one. First, it looked as if Quirk and Hargesheimer hesitated just a little bit, but they make the play 1-3, and that'll bring up Mike Rubel. Rubel again. Good night at the plate. 3 for 4, 2 doubles, a run scored, 2 runs batted in.
Second inning in a row.
And the Royals trail this game 11-7, but they're out hitting Oklahoma City 12-11. Fastball. You know, I'd like to see Al have a good year. He had unfortunate injury last year, and he sat out most of the season after coming over. He was with the Giants for a while.
Uses a 3/4 overhand arm angle as he pitches.
Inside and low. 3-0 now. Steve Buechele on deck.
If you want to know what we're talking about when we speak of arm angles, the master in Kansas City, Dan Quisenberry, is a side armor.
Well, he walked him on 4 pitches. So the Omaha Royals pitchers have been having trouble finding the plate every so often. For Hargesheimer, that'll be his first walk. Total on the ball game, though, for Omaha pitching, that is their 8th walk of the game.
Tori, another thing about that arm angle business, Sandy Koufax, Carl Erskine of the Dodgers in the 50s and 60s were very much overhand pitchers, and their arms felt it, and Al Hargesheimer uses the 3/4 angle.
Steve Buechele looking for his first hit. High and deep to center field. Morris is back. If he gets to it, he'll catch it right at the sign. And the runner retreats quickly to first base. So Mike Rummel has to hot wheel it back to first base after John Morris with yet another fine catch in center field.
Well, that's that. He's just outstanding. We've talked about him last season. We've seen him in this first telecast of the first home game. He's quite a center fielder. I'm excited about getting to watch John Morris this season here in Omaha.
You know, I think he's a lot more relaxed this year, just coming out and playing ball and having some fun. Brower steps in. Big breaking pitch by Hargesheimer, misses.
Yeah, he's the top player in the organization below the major league level. And he had a slow start at the plate last season, but then came on and had some homers.
Brower takes a strike from Hargesheimer, who's a Chicago native, and he still resides in Chicago during the offseason. We said he played a couple of seasons with San Francisco. He was with Phoenix of the Pacific Coast League before ending up with the Iowa Cubs in 1983. He did pitch for Chicago, the Cubs, and then in '84 he came over to the Omaha Royals. Swing and a miss. Good pitch.
He fooled him there. Morris ended up with 15 homers last season for the Royals.
Well, we got an exciting season. Denver, Buffalo, Nashville, Louisville, these 89ers, all coming into Omaha. Called strike 3. Brower frustrated. Second straight time he struck out, and for Al, that's his first strikeout recorded of the game. And for the 89ers in the top of the 8th, no runs, no hits, no errors. They left the runner on first base. And after 7.5, it's 11-7. The Royals trail Oklahoma City.
What are you looking for in a career? The opportunity to learn a valuable technical skill? The opportunity to advance and gain responsibility? Then check out the Marines. We offer professional training in over 300 jobs, from infantry and artillery to aircraft mechanics, electronics to construction. Training that can lead to a career in the Marines or in civilian life.
I'm Corporal Anthony Trout from Omaha, Nebraska. If challenge, opportunity, and respect are what you're after, call your local Marine recruiter and check out the United States Marine Corps.
Drunk drivers hurt thousands of people and cause millions of dollars in property damage each year in Nebraska. Be ready. Report every drunk driver immediately. When you see a drunk driver, call your nearest law enforcement agency or use your Citizens Band radio on Channel 9 and report a description of the vehicle, its license number, its location, and the direction the vehicle is traveling. You can prevent accidents. Be ready.
Moving into the bottom of the 8th inning, reliever early for Oklahoma City will face Bill Pacoda, Jim Scranton, and Rhonda Johnson, and the Royals have to get something started once again. This is the largest deficit 11-7. Well, actually, it was 11-5 before they scored the 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Pacoda, 1 for 2 tonight. Billy in his first season at AAA, off the handle.
So we had our quiz for the game, who made the first air and all-star game competition. We guessed it would be in 33. That was the first all-star game, Comiskey Park, Chicago. And sorry, Dad, it turned out to be Lou Gehrig. My father's favorite baseball player.
Dropped a foul pop in the 5th inning. Pitches outside. You can imagine what was going through people's minds when the All-Star game was first actually put into action. I would believe an All-Star game had been thought of before, but the National League didn't want to recognize that. For the American League, as Pacoda lines one in the gap, and McDowell can't get it. It's all the way to the fence. Pacoda has good speed. He could get 3. He's on his way to third base, and they have a leadoff triple in the bottom of the 8th inning. Now that's one that beat McDowell's speed. For Billy Pacoda, that is his first 3-back or second triple of the season.
Talk about plugging the gap. That was a frozen rope triple. Finally, McDowell were able to get it by him. He made a stab at it out there. Boy, it's Pacoda. He did a nice job of base running, too. Never any problem. But he took a great turn down there at second as he headed on into third.
That's the Royals' 3rd triple tonight. This young man has one of them. Scranton batting for the right side. Tried to poke it the opposite way. Is down at third base. Buechele is even with the bag. Of course, I would expect that the 89ers are all that concerned with the runner at third base, but you don't want to let him get anything started either.
It helps with that leadoff job.
Royals get the leadoff batter just 90 feet away. 0-1 delivery. Scranton with a good eye. Evens up the count at 1-1.
That's an underrated aspect of baseball, possibly. Base running, making the proper turns at first and third base.
Rondon Johnson, the on-deck hitter. Scranton tries to check his swing. They appeal down to first base. Gary Cederstrom says he went around. Strike 2. Obviously not to the liking of the local fans, but nonetheless, it's ball 1, strike 2. Left-hander still throwing in that 89er bullpen. Royals have a lefty-righty tandem in theirs. Scranton, opposite way to first base. Rubel will make the play, and Scranton will get a run batted in. That's Jimmy's 3rd RBI of the ball game. Pacoda will score from third, and it's 11-8.
Well, Scranton is doing that. The last place on the batting order for the Omaha Royals. So that's good news when you have a leadoff hitter like Dave Leeper, who has struggled tonight, but we know what he's capable of doing.
Rondon Johnson goes after the bunt, and it hit him after a wet fair. Or are they just going to call it a foul ball?
I thought it might have hit him. And they ended up ruling that just was a foul ball.
Well, John Flores signaled, well, you know, the Oklahoma City announcers, I can hear them, and they also thought that Johnson would be called out because the ball hit him after a wet fair.
Well, we had a couple college games earlier on Sports 9 Tour, and we had that situation twice.
Well, they're not getting around Early's pitches, and Rondon's out, 3-1. So that's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, and John Morris will come up. John looking for his first hit tonight. He does have a walk. He did score a run after he reached on a fielder's choice in the 7th inning. So again, we'll have the left-hander against the left-hander. Royals still need to push across a couple of runs here. Hold the 89ers at the top of the 9th, and then just put on some typical Royals late-inning heroics. We had a couple of those last year. Morris. Look at the intensity of John Morris as he digs in with that back foot.
We were able to see that, excuse me, Tori, and we mentioned that during batting practice, he's had that intensity.
Foul on the first base line.
He doesn't want the start he had last season. He was a young player, a lot of pressure on him. It was a big jump. I think Gene Lamont did a fine job last season handling the early season slump for John Morris. Morris was in Sports Illustrated, a spring training issue. They were touting him as a starting outfielder down in Kansas City.
Well, yeah, the 1-1 pitch, and then time is called. Butch Davis, the on-deck hitter. Lined into center field. Will it hang up there for McDowell? No. Johnny Morris has a 2-out single to center field. Well, nice piece of hitting. And you always want a guy like Butch Davis up in a situation like this. I'll tell you what, if you're in the 89er dugout, even though you have a 3-run lead, you don't want to see this guy come up. Butch with a couple of singles tonight. He scored a run. He has a stolen base. Down low for a ball. Dave Leaper's on deck. Go ahead, Terry.
Butch holds that bat back on his shoulder, and that shows you the quickness he has to have to get the good bat speed. Because look at the position of his hands. Let's see where he puts it. Way back there, wrapped around his head.
Foul is down to first baseline.
Of course, Carl Yastrzemski used to hold that thing way up.
Yeah, when he first came up in the major leagues, he had it very, very high. It was really unorthodox batting stance, but nobody argued with him when he won the batting title.
Sure, he has that
second year in the league.
He had that tremendous talent, and then he was able to adjust to, I think, in the mid-70s. He brought it down, his hands closer, a little lower into that launching position.
1-1 delivery. Nice pitch by Early. Well, that hesitation, when he's on, he's probably very, very tough to hit. It's my first opportunity to see Early at work. He makes the move to first. Yeah, Oklahoma City now hanging on to that 3-run lead. Had a couple of big innings in the third, and in the seventh they scored 4 times. Foul back, nice by Davis protecting the plate. He opened up his stance, and it looked like he was trying to wrap that thing down maybe the third baseline. Early stayed outside on it. The ball didn't break in. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Butch Davis. 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. John Morris at first base. The Royals already have punched a run in. They trail Oklahoma City 11-8. Live Omaha Royals baseball 15 times on Sports 9 Cox Cable Omaha. Glad to have you with us. Davis fouls this one off. Second year in a row, Terry Leahy and I been able to bring you Omaha Royals baseball.
Well, Tori, it's great to get to team up with you again for our team and get to broadcast professional baseball on Sports 9. This is your 3rd year, really, down here.
You started 3 years ago. I've enjoyed it. Tell you, when I first came into town, this was one of my goals, to do Royals baseball, and it's come true. So this has really been exciting for me. Here's the pitch. Davis loops it. That's going to be a base hit. No way Capper's going to get to that. Morris rounds the bag at second, and the Royals have runners at the corners. So a couple of loop singles, one to center, one to right field, and the Royals with Dave Leaper up in his heat, too. Butch shows a little bat control there, Tori. Inside outs it. You know, he opened up beautifully on that. The pitch was inside, getting close to his fist, and he was able to hold up. But the key there was that he held up Tori, and at the same time didn't pull his head up where he could not see the baseball. He had a maximum view of it. Now, Dave Oliver now has made the trip, whereas before, his coach, Rusty Gerhardt, has gone out and talked to the pitcher. Now, that's going to be it for Early. Bill will head to the dugout. And we're going to see another left-hander, and we're going to have to wait to find out exactly who it is. There you see him coming on right now. Yeah, let's see. Due up is Dave Leeper, and then Pat Putnam to follow him, and Jamie Quirk behind Putnam. Tony Fosis, number 16, the left-hander coming in. Baseball season's just starting, and you won't want to miss any of the fun the Omaha Royals have planned for you this year. Great baseball is all summer long as the Royals do battle against the other teams of the American Association. Special events are planned to delight the whole family. May 9th, Omaha goes against their own team as the Kansas City Royals come into town for a great exhibition game. And the kids will want to be at the stadium on May 25th and July 27th. The Chicken will come into town to lead the crowd in cheers and to delight the kids as well as delight you adults. July 3rd will bring great fireworks for the whole family. Group discounts are available, so you can bring your whole club, company, or organization out to the ballpark. So go for the action. Support the Royals. It's going to be a great summer of baseball right here at Rosenblatt.
Well, it sure is as you look at the new pitcher, Tony Fosis, a left-hander, and that'll help with Dave Leeper due up for the Omaha Royals, and he not only is due up, he's just due to hit the baseball in this game. Fosis has appeared in 2 previous games, and he has picked up a win. He's pitched in 4 1/3 innings. He's given up 6 hits, 2 runs, and both of those runs were earned runs. He hasn't given up the long ball. A couple of strikeouts and 4 walks, so not a great ratio there. An earned run average of 4.15 for the left-hander.
Well, Leeper's going to step up now for him early. He pitched 2 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. He is responsible for the runners at the corners now. Morris at third, Davis at first. Hit the opposite side. Looks like Kunkel will make the grab in short left field, and he does, and this inning is over. So the Royals come up with just 1 run, and they did it on 3 hits. No errors, and they left 2. After 8, the score is Oklahoma City 11, the Omaha Royals 8. So we'll be going into the top of the 9th inning, hoping that Al Hargesheimer can hold the 89ers off. If they've been able to come up with a lot of runs. They scored 4 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, had a bad inning in the 6th. They scored 1 run, then they came back with 4 more in the 7th. 11 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for Oklahoma City. 8 runs, 15 hits, and no errors for the Royals.
There's our great broadcast spot here at Rosenblatt Stadium. It's great to be up here again. Great to have the Royals back in town. And the Royals will come in to this inning with a new pitcher, Mike Kinnunen, our first look at him. We saw him last season. Kinnunen is a left-hander on the Omaha Royals staff. And he came over here in the UL Washington trade to Montreal. He's originally signed by Minnesota. And we see Mike also with a 3/4 overhand delivery.
Well, of course, Kinnunen, as Terry just said, the Royals have been used to hitting against him, and now he's one of their teammates. I wonder how much, a new member of a ball club like that in the same league can help their new ball club when they play their former ball club.
Well, he's able to tell them about some of the plays they might have defensively. Those don't change that often. He'd be able to talk about pitchers that stay with that organization, Torrey, and their strengths and weaknesses. As we said, outside of the game of baseball, outside the actual game, that information is so important. What's this guy throwing? What's he have? What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? And that's really the job of a manager, to get that information to his players and to work that information through with his coaching staff.
Well, Kinnunen will come in, and he'll face Greg Tabor, Odaby McDowell, and Nick Capra. As Tabor takes a ball, 1-0 the count. The line on Hargesheimer is 1 2/3 innings. He gave up a hit, walked one, struck out one, but did not allow any runs. Caught the inside corner for a strike. So Kinnunen making his first appearance in a Royals uniform here in Rosenblatt Stadium. 2 balls and a strike now. Tabor on the night. Only 1 hit in 2 trips, but he's walked twice. He's scored all 3 times he's been on. Swing and a miss. Evens the count at 2-2. This ball game about 3 hours and 3 minutes old. The wind continuing to blow. Fouled at the plate. No, it's going to be fair. Quirk guns it to Putnam, and he's out 2-3. Thought it was going to be foul, but it thought at first it might have bounced off the plate.
Quite a pivot there, huh?
Full swing bunt. Nice play by Jamie Quirk. Tough play too, because he's a right-handed thrower.
And he knows he has a good angle. The runner has to stay in that retaining box halfway down the first baseline. He can't get out of there. The first baseman is set up in good position.
Odaby takes a strike. Doesn't like the call by umpire John Flores. One and one. Top of the 9th inning. The Royals try to put another goose egg up on the board for Oklahoma City. Then come back and get some big runs in the bottom of the 9th themselves. Up the line. Nice piece of hitting by McDowell.
Oh, look at this.
Look at the speed. Incredible. Wasn't even close. Kingery went over toward the line. Nice piece of hitting. So he has a stand-up double. And on the season for McDowell, let's check this out. That is going to be his second 2-bagger of the season.
I thought Odaby might go on to third, and you have to credit Mike Kingery with a fine play out there in right field. The ball slowed down in the grass, and he got it quickly back into the infield.
Well, Nick Capra steps in. Well, you have a 3-run lead, and somebody like McDowell out at second base. Never know what Dave Oliver could do. Pacoda's even with the bag at third. Scranton decoys its shortstop toward the bag. Here comes the pitch. Misses. Ball 2, 2-0. Jeff Kunkel, the on-deck batter. So the left-hander, Mike Kinnunen, finds himself in a hole to Nick Capra after giving up that double up the line at right field. Odaby McDowell. Pitch was a strike. Quirk trouble handing onto it, but McDowell stopping halfway between second and third.
A guy with a lot of speed out there even turns that into an adventure.
Well, I was half expecting him to take off at third base. 2-1 to count to Capra. Pacoda still even with the bag at third. They run the pickoff play, and they got him! What a move by Kinnunen. Nice job, Jimmy Scranton. 2 outs. Score that one 2-6.
One, two, three, turn and fire. Timed up beautifully. You're going to see a lot of that with Scranton. What a great play.
Pretty play to watch when you work it right. Paid off here. 3-1 now.
It's just like a clock ticking on that. Just tick, tick, throw, tag, ring him up.
You have to work it well. You work on it a lot. And he walks the batter. So every Royals pitcher so far tonight has walked at least one batter. Capper on. That's his third walk of the night. Capper's 2 for 3. He's been up to bat 6 times, though. Shortstop Jeff Kunkel is up. Watch Capra closely. Decent lead at first base. Capra 1 for 2 in the stolen base department. I don't know if Dave Oliver will give him the green light. Kinnanen's pitch. Wrapped into center field for a base hit. Morris on one hop holds the runner at second base. So Kunkel's on with a line drive rope to center field, and the 89ers have runners at first and second, and that pickoff is a big play. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Dave Stockstill.
Designated hitter, Dave
Well,
Stockstill.
He has... Now we have a pinch hitter coming in. It's exactly what I thought. It looks like it's going to be Chucky Kennedy, who's looking for his first hit of the year. Matter of fact, it would appear by the information that this is his first at-bat this year. So Kennedy, pinch hitter for the designated hitter Stockstill.
We saw Kennedy last season in the association.
Runners at first and second with 2 down, 1-0 count. Kennedy got it on the outside corner.
Great pitch. Not much you could do with a pitch like that. Good velocity, painting the outside portion of the plate, painting the black, Torrey.
Quirk with a good job there to hang on to that pitch. 2 balls and a strike to count now to Kennedy. Well, left-hander checks in on the sign from Quirk and goes to the belt. Comes to the plate. High to right field. Kingery should make a play on this to end the inning, and he does. And the 89ers are out in the top of the 9th inning. No runs, but they did have 2 hits. No errors, but they left a couple of runners on, and after 8.5, your score is Oklahoma City 11 and the Royals 8.
By following sensible dietary guidelines, it's easy to eat well, enjoy a full range of delicious foods, and still reduce one of your risks of heart disease. The American Heart Association sponsors many workshops and offers free literature about good nutrition. Learn how to select and prepare foods that help keep hearts healthy.
These nutrition programs would not be possible without your support. Thanks to you, we're growing healthy Nebraska hearts.
The American Heart Association. We're fighting for your life.
The American Cancer Society, in cooperation with the Omaha Police Division, is sponsoring the Jail and Bail fundraiser, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Just by making a $25 pledge, you can have anyone arrested by a uniformed off-duty police officer and taken to a mock jail, where they must raise bail to be released. All proceeds will go to the American Cancer Society. Call 393-7742 and have someone arrested.
You'll be seeing you in jail. Okay, we're going to the bottom of the 9th, and the Royals need at least 3 to tie. 4 runs, they come away with a big come-from-behind win. Facing Tony Fossis, who is the 3rd Oklahoma City pitcher of the night.
Good part of the lineup due up for the Royals. With Putnam and Quirk, they've accounted for some offense tonight.
Well, we'll see how Fossis does against the left-handers. Putnam is 2 for 4. He sandwiched a single and an RBI double around a couple of pop-outs to shortstop.
Doug Loftus to the Royals office.
Well, Kinnunen did his job. He got us into this inning. We've been able to stop the 89ers in the 8th and 9th innings, Torrey.
And left-hander winds and fires, and he hits one high. Not deep enough as McDowell is under it, and we have one away. Jamie Quirk, good night. 2 singles, a home run, scored twice, 2 runs batted in. Quirk, the starting catcher. Russ Steffens, who was the starting catcher for Omaha, suffering that injury, probably won't be back until June. Brian Polberg got the starting nod and then promptly hurt his, what he told me today, he says, I hurt my good knee. So he's now trying to come back from an injury that presses Jamie Quirk into service. Brian Polberg from Council Bluffs.
Quirk's used to that type of action. He was going to coach last year with the St. Louis Cardinals, and then he ended up becoming an active player again, played with Denver, the Bears of the White Sox organization at the time.
Well, you know, the Royals, it seems, have been able to be successful with what you'd call utility-type players, and I guess the biggest example of that is John Wathen. I've heard people say, well, I don't know, he plays so many positions, but he's not really set at one. Will he stay in the major leagues? Well, yes, and he's played in the World Series too. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Quirk is out on strikes. First strikeout for Fosses, and it'll be Mike Kingery.
Right fielder, Mike Kingery.
Well, he's the last hope for the Royals here with 2 outs at the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Royals now have used up all but one of their allotted outs. As Kingery takes a strike.
You know what that's like saying? It's like being in high school and measuring the amount of time before summer vacation in seconds.
Here's a line shot. McDowell draws a beat on it. And the Royals have lost their 85 home opener to Oklahoma City by a score of 11-8. Terry and I will be back to take a look at it.
You've taught your children to be polite and friendly, but have you taught them when not to be?
Hi there. Do you live around here?
Uh-huh.
You going to school?
Yes.
Well, I could give you a ride.
Last year, 50,000 children disappeared, many of them from nice, safe neighborhoods.
It's okay. Come on, help me.
Talk to your children about not talking to strangers, and do it today.
A message of concern from the Omaha Medical Society.
There are channels for music, channels for sports, channels for news, even channels for weather. But when it comes to classic movies, there's only one channel, American Movie Classics. Great stars, great stories, 50 great years of Hollywood. It's simple, it's sensational. When you're in the mood for classic movies, there's only one channel you'll need, American Movie Classics. Isn't it amazing no one did it before?
Back at Rosenblatt Stadium, there you see the line score, 11-13-2 for Oklahoma City, 8-15-0 for the Omaha Royals. Royals doing a good job hitting. They just couldn't get enough runs across. Mike Griffin, in his second start, will absorb his second loss. He's 0-2, and Jose Guzman went 5 innings, and he left with the lead, and he never lost it, so he is now 1-1.
And we have a situation, Torrey, where we had 2 stories down here tonight. A historic night, the home opener, under the Gus Cherry regime here with the Omaha Royals, their new owner. And, you know, it's so important for this team to be marketed and to really present it to the community, and that's a job we want to certainly undertake on Sports 9 as we do the games all season. And it was just a great night to see Mr. Cherry throw out the first pitch and get things going here as he now owns this ball club. We lost the game. The Royals have to get going, but they have a good young team, and they have a good mix of veterans this season.
Well, the Royals, of course, will play these same 89ers again Thursday and Friday. Game time 7:05, and then Denver comes into town and Saturday through Tuesday, and we'll be here for the Saturday ball game on Sports 9. You know, thanks for watching us, but come on out to the ballpark. Omaha Royals baseball, the summer of '85, is really going to be exciting. Torrey Pantaleon for Terry Leahy, producer-director Bill Norton, and everyone else in the Cox Cable Omaha Sports 9 crew, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you someplace where there's a ball game.